good evening. This is Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutor's Path Part 7. And I'm about to, to continue where we left off yesterday. We are in the fourth turnabout of the game. The Forgotten Turnabout, if I'm not mistaken. And, yeah, I guess the name makes sense if you consider that Kay lost her memory in this one. Oh, I only just understood. Yeah, well, anyway, hold on. Bear with me just a second. Alright. Ah, yeah, he's looking for Kay, yeah, because she ran away or something. Well, alright then. She's not here either. Where in the world could she have gone? Knock, knock, I'm here. Mr. Shields. What's going on, Miles? Why the long face? Take it from Uncle Ray, you won't be popular with the ladies looking like that. Why are you here? Did something happen? That's my line. Have you seen the news? About the murder at the PIC headquarters? I'm already involved in it. Sorta. Your hearing, wasn't it there today? I found myself wondering if you guys had somehow got caught up in it. Wait, it's already made the news? I hear they're searching for a teenage girl suspected of killing an attorney. I can't imagine it could have been her, but it has been bothering me. Could you give me the full rundown? The truth is, it's Kay. Miles, are you trying to give your Uncle Ray a heart attack? I'm not joking. She really did lose her memory. On top of that, she's a suspect. That makes things even more difficult. Where would she have run off to? She lost her memory, right? I was hoping she would return here, but not likely. She felt responsible for what happened to you, right? Then there's no way she would come back here. I know that, but where else can I look? Calm down, Miles. This isn't like you. It's rare to see you get so heated up. Well, not that it's a bad thing. If you're trying this hard to save an innocent suspect from false charges, I'm sure you'd make a great defense attorney. Actually, just a while ago, I turned in my badge. But that doesn't mean I've decided to become a defense attorney. Besides, Kay isn't just a mere suspect. I may have only known her for a short time, but we've been through quite a lot together. And I know she isn't capable of murder. I'm surprised. I never thought you would go so far to support someone else. I don't know if you even realize it yourself, but it seems a deep bond has already begun to grow between you and Kay. I'd say it even gives my bond with your father a run for its money. No, it's not that deep. She just keeps barging into my state of affairs. Huh, yeah, that girl can be quite a handful. But I'm certain that something has changed inside you since you met her. I'm really jealous, you know. After all, I lost my old partner. That's why you need to find Kay right now. I don't want you to lose your bond like your Uncle Ray did. Well then, I have a proposal. We have no idea where she is, and searching around blindly won't get us anywhere. In that case, why don't we try searching for the cause of her memory loss? Maybe that could give us a lead. I see. That might be a good idea. From what she told me, something must have happened to her at the Grand Tower. Great, that's it. Let's get going then. Hey, at the very least, could you stop looking so grim? If you stay that way, Kay probably won't want to come back at all. Good grief. I'm no match for this man. It seems it's already dark. Still open on the day of a murder. You gotta admire their capitalist spirit. But there's no one here. Looks like we've got the place all to ourselves. To prove Kay's innocence, I'll need to investigate her lost memories. Hey, let's go, Miles. We can investigate the roof as much as we want, so let's do what we can. Do what we can, huh? I suppose that's all we can do for now. It's a cherry tree with branches spread wide. The flowers are nearly in full bloom. According to Kay's testimony, Before she was pushed, she was standing under the cherry tree. Come to think of it, since they say that it was in full bloom, wouldn't her clothes have been covered in the petals from the cherry tree? I mean, you can see there's a lot of it under the tree, so... Why do you think Kay lost her memories? Was there something she wanted to forget? Miles, did you say something horrible to her? Of course not. I would never say anything that cruel to someone. Well, I might have said some unkind things to Detective Gumshoe in the past, but... I see. Now I feel bad for the big guy. The person in the red raincoat who pushed Kay off the tower, she said they came toward her from the direction of the stand. From that we can deduce Kay was pushed over the railing on this side. The railing is about as high as my chest. It's unlikely that someone could fall from here accidentally. I don't see any particular problems with this railing. Oh, they're here. Can't examine the stands. I guess these guys are in front of it. Miles at Earth, so we meet again. What are you two doing here? Well, we came all this way, so I thought we'd buy some cotton candy. And what about you? You want folks to get the wrong idea about you? Do not worry, I will decide my own actions. You're just a no-good ex-prosecutor. It's no wonder you got the axe. Wait, what? You got fired? You needn't be concerned with what happened to me. Are you sure? Oh yeah, what happened to Kay? Was there some sort of trouble between you two? Anything I can do to help? How about an injection? Because that would help. Finding Kay. It's fine. Our injections are answer to everything. Alright, it's getting cold, isn't it? Let's go home. Well then, Mr. Miles Edgeworth. Let's meet again soon. You, sir, how about some heavenly cotton candy, Heaven's Tear? There's someone in the stand? Heaven's Tear. Did they name them after the shape of the clouds you can see from here? We tear a regular piece of cotton candy in half and then sell it without changing the price. That's why the name is Heaven's Tear. We tear the costs in half while crying tears of joy. If the customers knew that, they would be crying tears of sorrow. This TV seems to be used for showing advertisements for the companies at the Grand Tower, sorry. Right now it's just showing regular television programs though. So, wait, what am I watching this for? The Steel Samurai doesn't air today. Is it possible that she saw something on TV that she thought was moving towards her or something? What's that? Ah, okay. What, she was in the tree? Ow, Kay. Don't mind me. I was just admiring the view beneath the tree. Did you just fall out of that tree? I didn't mean to fall. My foot slipped. You're a suspect and yet you remained at the crime scene. That's not a smart thing to do. Even if you have memory loss, shouldn't you have realized as much? This whole time while you were playing this silly game of hide and seek, I've been worried sick about you. Hi Jeff, the overworld surprised sprite of Kay is very cute. Yeah, it is. Hi there, good evening. Alright, let's keep going. Are you angry with me? Of course I am. Answer me, what were you doing here? Did you think I'd let you off the hook that easily just because you have memory loss? That's not it. I came here because I thought I could get your badge back. What? If I don't regain my memories, you'll never get it back. I thought if I went back to where I lost my memories and maybe drink, yeah, then maybe I would remember. If I could just remember killing her. Hey. You're still the same as you were before you lost your memories. Your thoughts and actions have always exceeded my expectations. Without a doubt, you are the Kay Faraday I know so well. However, I cannot approve of your recklessness. I understand. Cut! You get 0 style points, Miles. Or more like negative points. Here's how it's done. Kay, how about a hug? Oh, okay. Oh ho, well then. Mr. Shields. It was just a joke. Honest. I'm not so sure. No! We interrupt this program with breaking news about the Grand Tower murder case. Good Miles, good Miles. The police believe the culprit is a teenage girl who was present at the crime scene. She remains at large as the police continue to search for her whereabouts. Oh dear, this is getting pretty serious. Well, gang, what's the plan? We don't have much time. Indeed, it's only a matter of time before they find us here. So then, why don't you tag along with us for a while, Kay? But I'll just cause trouble for you again. It pains me to say this, but I've got nothing left to lose at this point. Mr. Edgeworth, that settles it. We're all in this together now. Miles, you're in charge of proving Kay's innocence. Failure is not an option. Yes, I understand. Kay, I want you to help Miles with his investigation as much as you can. Yes, I'll do my best. Let's be quick about it, before the cops find us here. Unlike some people, Uncle Ray still has a lot to lose. We're supposed to be taking a bath now, but I have troubles getting in. Now you have to bring yourself to do it. This man, I'm glad he's on our side. We're seeing live footage from the 50th floor. The investigation will continue through the night. Is it really live footage? Yeah, it says breaking news. Oh, I'm good. I'm alright. It says police are searching for a 17-year-old girl suspected in the murder of an attorney. And they're basically filming where she is. The 50th floor, isn't that the meeting room of the PIC headquarters? That's right, we can see the shadows of the investigators behind those blinds. Uh-oh, looks like making a clean getaway just got that much harder. Oh, just coffee. It seems we have no choice but to cleverly evade the eyes of the media. Maybe Uncle Ray should have become a spy instead of an attorney. 50% Godo cosplay, I see. Yeah, kinda. If worst comes to worst, I may have to use Mr. Shields as a decoy. Miles, just now, you were thinking of something terrible, weren't you? I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking crook and granny, yeah. Yeah, actually, someone posted in the comments yesterday on my YouTube channel that it was the best, actually, who said crook and granny at some point. Someone who's been following better than I have. Let's see. No, not this. Where is it? Ah, this one. Eureka! Do you know how many floors this building has? Of course, 50 floors, right? Just above the place where the PIC conducts their practically illegal cover-ups. PIC. Couples are wishing for love. Kinda ironic, don't you think? So what's this dark area above the 50th floor? Maybe it's the Tunnel of Love. Those are always dark, eh? The viewing platform we're on now should be directly above the PIC meeting room. However, the late-night investigation is taking place 2 floors below us. This is a clear contradiction. Was there a mistake in the pamphlet? No, rather, it's more natural to assume this building has a hidden 51st floor. Well, not really hidden, but I have watched the Von Karma case final scene from the anime. Ah. Does he bang his head on the wall? In the anime too, I can't recall. I like the way they changed it to fit a somewhat more realistic anime. Ah, okay. Oh, she's so pure and gullible, it's breaking Uncle Ray's heart. Then why don't you take this opportunity to be more serious for once? I just don't get it, Miles. I joke around to make things easier for you. On the contrary, his painful jokes only make things harder for me. Can I use logic now? Nah, I see no connection between anything so far. Yes, can I help with something? I came back here because I thought I might remember something. Could you again go over what you told me before? Well, it was raining, so I stood under the cherry tree to take shelter, and then a person in a red raincoat appeared. That person pushed me and I fell. Can you tell me anything about the person in the raincoat? I'm sorry, I don't remember that much. No, wait. As the person approached me, I saw the moon just over their shoulder. The moon. That's right, it's just a faint memory, but I think the moon was in the exact same spot as it is now. But you said that the guy was approaching you from the stand, so that there's a contradiction there, isn't there? It was floating just above the cherry tree. She could see the moon behind the figure in the raincoat. Kay saw the moon behind the person in the raincoat. It's in the same spot tonight. Hey, Senpai Trash! How's it going? There's a new piece of testimony. I'll be sure to keep it in mind. Mr. Edgeworth, for a while now, I feel like I'm on the verge of remembering something. What? Is that true? Well then, please speak freely. Say whatever comes to your mind. Okay. I remember a faint scent. It was a wonderful smell coming from the counter of a food stall. Cotton candy? I followed the fragrance only to find a perfectly sculpted burger resting on 2 golden buns. The tender and juicy patty made my taste buds sing with joy. Yes, I can remember what I thought at that moment. It was a given that they would compare the ballistic markings as it would be in real life. The plot twist was not reaching the conclusion that you should analyze the ballistic markings. It was the fact that the bullet was missing and someone went to get it. I am not sure if it's okay to talk about it here. No, it's okay. I've already played the game. I'm not being spoiled of anything as far as that's concerned. I don't think this memory has anything to do with the case. You called yourself the great thief Yatagarasu. You prided yourself on being a noble thief, which is still the truth. Do you remember something about that? Maybe I was called a noble thief because I won the Nobel Prize. That's noble, not noble. Nobel, not noble. And they don't give prizes for thievery. Yeah. The pieces don't fit together quite right. Because I thought that had something to do with where she was standing. If you know that she could see the moon. You're cleaning the kitchen from top to bottom. It's nice to have something to watch, listen to while doing so. Did you get to see your friends today? No, I didn't know. Unfortunately. Nah, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe this weekend. And since I don't stream at night, it will be more convenient anyway. Yeah, I paid more attention this time, yeah. The madman. Yeah, there's a contradiction between these two. Yeah, I said that before. If I recall Kay's testimony, a person in a raincoat approached her from behind the candy stand. Then this person supposedly pushed Kay over the railing opposite the stand. Moreover, Kay said she saw the moon over the person's shoulder. That doesn't make sense. However, earlier I confirmed that the moon is floating in the opposite direction. And on the night Kay lost her memories, it seems the moon was in the exact same spot. Therefore, the positions of the moon and the person in the raincoat don't match up. Yeah, maybe this weekend, I hope. Well, hey Panda, how's it going? Her memories have probably become confused. After all, had she actually been pushed over the railing, she couldn't have survived the fall. Perhaps I should question Kay's memory of where she fell. And so Maya went to get it from Von Karma's office, and so also proving that he was tampering with and hiding evidence. Yep. Kay was not pushed over the railing on this side. After all, if you fell from here, you wouldn't even be alive in the first place. But I'm certain I was standing under the cherry tree. If I fell, then the only place I could have fallen was over the railing. Well, maybe the ground just opened up from under you and swallowed you up. The ground here can open up? How? No, it was just a joke, Kay. Please, don't take it so seriously. KK? No, strange as it may sound, that may actually be the truth. Even if it's only a small chance, it matters not. Let's try searching the area around the tree. And just when the case was about to be closed, she came back and said, "Objection!" Hers being the final objection, and it was epic. I love her character, Maya. Kay could not have fallen over the railing. There must be something around here that proves it. I won't rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking crook and granny. It looks like a maintenance hatch. Okay, maybe you fell down here? Nah, just kidding, there's no way something like that could happen. I'm sorry, I just can't remember if... No, it was just a joke, no need to take it seriously. Right. So, when should I take you seriously then? When indeed. You can never take him too seriously. What if you jumped into Uncle Ray's arms? Mr. Shields! Hey, come on, Miles. It was just a joke. A joke, you know? Oh, I get it. No one ever takes you seriously. Ouch. That stung a bit. If she fell down the hatch, that would have been on that kind of hidden floor, wouldn't it be? An extra floor between the 50th floor and the viewing platform. Why didn't anyone notice it? Normally you'd notice it. I mean, how can you hide an entire floor? This is where the problem lies. No one noticed something that should have been easily noticeable. In other words, it must be impossible to access the 51st floor through normal means. I see, maybe there's a secret portal or something. Okay, now is not the time to be thinking with portals. I'd like you to recall the hatch at the base of the cherry tree. Isn't it normal to assume there's a room on the other side of the maintenance hatch? Uncle Ray likes where you're going with this. Let's hurry and check it out. There we go. Now let's see. Looks like there's a lot of stuff down there. Is this what they call a storeroom? There is no doubt about it. This is where Kay fell down. Of course, and with this, the mystery is solved. No, not yet. We still have the mystery of the person in the red hood who was walking in midair. Now, let's not get greedy, shall we? We found the storeroom, so let's wrap things up here. I suppose you have a point. It does seem to warrant an investigation. What if it isn't Mr. Edgeworth? Hey! Emma, what are you doing here? I heard about the case from Detective Gumshoe. Since I was already in the area, I thought I might as well check out the crime scene. This girl's name is Emma Skye. She's a high school student studying in Europe to become a forensic scientist. She's the younger sister of my former boss and a witness in one of my trials 2 years ago. If she's studying in Europe, what is she doing in Japan at the moment? Or even the United States? Japamerica or something. Detective Gumshoe told me everything over the phone. He sounded really upset. Yay, Emma! You said you lost your badge at the Grand Tower and Kay became a mummy. Please, calm down. I thought you left for Europe just a few days ago. Don't tell me you've come back already. Yep, and I've brought my teacher from abroad too. He needed an interpreter, so I volunteered to help. If your teacher cannot speak English, why aren't you with him right now? You can still communicate with people. Don't underestimate the importance of body language. That doesn't really count as a language. But enough of that, about that. What happened to Kay? Is she alright? My, what a good friend. Isn't this great, Kay? Yeah. Who are you? Are you Mr. Edgeworth's new assistant? On the contrary, my dear. I'm Ray Shields, head of the Edgeworth Law Offices. Edgeworth Law Offices? Wait, you mean like defense attorneys? Mr. Edgeworth, when did you suddenly become an attorney? No, it's not like that. Now that I think about it, it is a rather complicated working relationship. Don't sweat the details. Let's start with an introductory hug. Why did you become a defense attorney, Mr. Edgeworth? Hey, don't just ignore me. Because I don't approve at all. Well, why don't we continue this conversation down below? That's right, the police could arrive any second now. Mr. Edgeworth, who's she? I'll explain later. First, we have to go down the hatch. Not much of a fan of her in the case where we first meet her, but I loved her in Apollo Justice. I don't know, I think she's fine overall. Got no complaints. Okay, guess I'll be joining the Prosecutor defense team. I'll explain about that too. Let's go to the storeroom. It's pretty dark down here. I can't see a thing. Watch your footing, Emma. Ouch! I think I hit my head. Okay, be careful not to slip. Take your time coming down. Okay. The light switch should be somewhere around here. This is... What is this? The hidden 51st floor is it being used as a storeroom? We'll need to investigate it thoroughly. It's cute how she's a big Edgeworth fan though. Emma, yeah. Mr. Edgeworth, please tell me about the case. Right then, where should I begin? I see. This is certainly a serious situation. Why does she look like she's having so much fun? Looks like you're in a bind, prosecutorial attorney Edgeworth. I'm not a defense attorney, nor is there such a thing as a prosecutorial attorney. This looks like a job for science. Don't you worry, I've got everything here in my bag. Are you sure you're up for this, Emma? Of course. So once again, it's good to be working with you, Mr. Edgeworth. And I'm glad to be working with you as well. Looks like we've got ourselves another cute assistant, so what's the plan? That lift looks pretty suspicious to me. A lift? It looks like it goes down. I am curious as well, but first we should investigate this room. Okay, if you find out anything, be sure to tell Uncle Ray. And if I remember something, I'll let you know. Yes, please do. Emma. Emma! Roger, I'm ready to support. Well then, let's begin the investigation. Just be anything you want. Notice anything? Since Kay's the suspect, I can't just stay silent. I feel the same way. For now, we should calm down and search for clues. No, after thinking it through scientifically, I've come up with an even better plan. I'll just give Kay an extremely powerful electric shock to her head. And see if that will jumpstart her memories. Well, that seems a bit, quite dangerous. I would prefer to go with my proposal to calm down and investigate the room. Is that so? But in science, a bit of danger always comes with the territory. That's not exactly what you would call a bit of danger. I came back here for a while as my teacher's translator, but normally I study in Europe, that's right, to become a super forensic scientist. Gonna take that bath then. Okay, Jeff. That's admirable. Endeavoring to learn is the duty of a student. Yes, in order to excel in both academics and athletics, I've even taken up sports. For example, the competitions they have during sports day. Oh, I wonder what sort of competitions she's referring to. Unlike America, Europe has extremely tough, manly sports and... Well, I'm sure you've heard of the War of the Eyeglasses at least. I've never heard of it before in my life. Pretty sure it's made up too. Don't you think it's kind of creepy how all these masks are lined up in such a dark place? Emma, are you not good with horror movies? No way! Horror movies are so unscientific. So she's scared of them. Yeah, let's grab all the crooks and grannies that we can find. There's one missing. And I have one right here. The Jamin ninja mask that Kay had with her. I think it's the pink princess, the one on the right, on the left, in the middle row. Perhaps it was originally attached to this hook. That sounds plausible, scientifically speaking. In other words, Kay came here? It's quite likely, but for what purpose? Maybe she was going to steal something from this place. A great thief who steals the truth, huh? No, I don't think we can answer that question at this time. What's that price? These are murder case files. Eh? What are those doing here? By all rights, they should be kept at the prosecutor's building of the court or the courthouse, but it would seem that someone has removed them. Something is afoot, and we are none the wiser. Scientifically speaking, this must be a wooden ice box. This chain is tied around it to keep the cold from escaping, probably. No, Emma, wouldn't this be a costume trunk? It's made from wood that repels bugs in order to protect the clothes inside. Ah, I see, of course, that's another possible theory. What type of wood again makes makes them go away? I can't recall now. I guess she's sticking to her icebox theory. These are... what is it? The items displayed on the shelf here, if I recall correctly, they are all evidence from past cases that I was involved with. What are they doing here? I guess that would make this place the PIC's evidence storeroom, huh? These items should be kept in the care of the police. Don't they keep evidence in the prosecutor's office? Only for current trials, yeah. Obviously, after some time, they would have to move them again. Okay, sorry. Once a verdict has been reached, the evidence is transferred over to the police department and stored in the evidence room. But it looks like the evidence has been stored here instead. There's no point in worrying about it. I should try examining everything. Looks like some of the evidence have tags in front of them. I thought they were prices. And there are numbers written on the tags. Maybe they're the ID numbers on the evidence Pretty round numbers. No, based on how large these numbers are and the nature of these items, I'd say these are prices, yeah. Prices? If that's the case... wow, these are ridiculously expensive. She seems more concerned with the high prices than the legality of this whole affair. The evidence on display. I should inspect every, crook and granny. That's strange. Only this one spot is empty, but it still has a price tag, just like all the others. It was the cheapest, too. Indeed, furthermore, there is a part of this cloth that is not covered in dust. Perhaps something was placed here not so long ago. I see, it sure seems like it, but... what could it have been? The star-shaped mark in the dust, I wonder. Could it be related to a certain piece of evidence? One I already have? This, maybe? Eureka! This dust pattern matches up perfectly with the base of the candelabra. It's likely that the killer got the candelabra from this very storeroom. Does that mean the candelabra was also a piece of evidence? It's quite possible, however, that is not the issue here. The murder weapon originally came from the storeroom. We must keep that in mind. Oh, how cute. This stuffed animal is so fluffy. That's from Gourd Lake. Oh yeah, it was that one. It should be in the care of the prosecutor assigned to that case right now. Why is it sitting here in a place like this? Huh? This little guy is missing his left horn. His left horn. I'm pretty sure it was already missing when I first saw it. Then this must be a defective product. I demand a recall. Now that I think about it, giving a broken toy to a country's president does sound strange. The same stuffed animal we saw in the Zengfa president's plane, missing its left horn. The storeroom contains items to be sold, doesn't it? It's unfortunate, but the possibility seems quite high. I suspect some nefarious individual has been selling evidence here. And people actually pay money for this stuff? Apparently some people do. The price tags are proof. Different strokes for different folks, I guess. What's this? It looks like a giant head. If I recall, this is the head of Mrs. Monkey. I believe it was from a case I was involved with in the past. It's impressive how they were able to get such a large object into this room. Mrs. Monkey, huh? That doesn't really have a nice ring to it. Maybe you remembered the name wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. Impossible. That can't be true. So, what else then? No, never mind. I only have one. There's a huge stack of money piled up here, unrefined. They're all $100 bills. Talk about big bucks. It's sold. Someone bought that giant monkey thing. Yeah. Maybe the producer of the show or something like that from the first game. I suppose D. Vasquez is probably still in jail. So how many times you're Rudy bodied off stream? So how many times your yearly salary do you think this is worth? Leave my salary out of this. Yeah, none of your business. And the badger. Ah, so many horrible memories. Yeah, the badger, the blue badger. These two things seem to go together. From the price tags attached to the pieces of evidence and that huge stash of cash, it's clear that the buying and selling of evidence was being carried out here. In the hidden 51st floor, evidence was being trafficked? This clearly means something. It seems further investigation is needed about the dealings that went on in this place. If only there was a witness, we could just ask them. A witness. There doesn't seem to be a surveillance camera. Damn it, what am I supposed to do? If I already talked to her, I think so. Oh man, Uncle Ray's heart is pounding up a storm, surrounded by so many cutie pies in such a small cramped room. Mr. Shields, please try to be more serious. It was just a joke. Uncle Ray's keeping a close watch over little Kay. So you can continue your investigation without worry. You watching over Kay is exactly what I'm worried about. This statue. Yes, is it some sort of new fact? No, this is evidence from a case that I was previously involved in. I believe it was called the Alice Red statue. Which one was that again? There were supposed to be two of them, one real and one fake, but no matter which one this is, it's unnatural for it to turn up in a place like this. Mr. Edgeworth, you've really seen a lot of cases, huh? Oh no, not her. Gotcha! Yippee-ki-yay! I got me a scoop! Ah, my eyes! Stop it! You ain't getting away from the Great Lotus camera that easily. I reckon y'all must be criminals. I'ma snap 16 shots before you all can even say cheese. Wait, we're not criminals. Really? You ain't fooling my camera of justice with those words. You are. Yeah, ain't ya that heinous prosecutor from back then? Who are you calling heinous? This is Loda Hart. She's a photographer I've dealt with during my past cases. I see her distinctive accent and her chatterbox mouth haven't changed a bit. Just look at that face. You're obviously up to no good. Seems she has a bad impression of us. Now it's time to pay your dues. Stand still while I photograph y'all. We only came here to investigate. Lies. You think you can fool me like that? Mr. Edgeworth, she's not listening at all. She seems harmless. Let's just leave her be for now. No, okay, I thought the game was crashed. Actually, it was waiting for my input. I was like, wait, what? What? So, why did you come here? For the people of the world and for myself. I am a social justice photographer after all. Social justice? Then allow me to guess the reason why you came here. Was it perhaps to expose the illegal evidence trafficking? Oh, I get it. You were trying to get a scoop on the secret dealings. Huh? Y'all know that much already? Well, I reckon there ain't no reason to hide it anymore. My sources tell me there's some kind of black market auction being held around these parts. What did you say? So then, all this evidence here. Yup, they're the goods for the auction. There's a lot of dirty money flying around here. Loda is quite annoying, but I guess she's got a lot of heart. Yeah. They chose a fitting name for her. I wanted to try and catch it with my own two eyes. My source gave me a whole bunch of info, but I figured just hearing about it ain't enough. Seeing is believing after all. So I've been stalking out the place from behind this here statue since yesterday. You were here since yesterday? The auction took place late last night and went on till the early morning. A murder on the night of the black market auction. Did you take pictures, by any chance, of the people holding that black market auction? Could the two events be related? Black market dealings in the Grand Tower. Guess I really hit the mother lode this time. Were all the items in the auction pieces of evidence? There was some normal stuff too, like stolen art and the like. I wouldn't consider stolen art to be normal. But I reckon the evidence was the star of the show here. These folks are law fanatics trying to get their hands on the latest goods from the police. So that's what you wanted to get pictures of, Miss Hart. Pretty much. They were meeting right under this very storeroom, so I watched them from up here. You said you were here since yesterday. Did you witness the entire event? It was a black market auction after all. They followed a fairly detailed procedure. First, the participants entered the storeroom from the viewing platform one at a time. When they got in, they each took one of those masks on the wall over there. Funny thing about those masks, they're all equipped with voice changers, itty-bitty ones. That way they wouldn't be recognized. They wanted to protect their anonymity. You mean their anonymity? Yeah, that's it. Their anonymity. Why not just say identity and make things easier for all of us? After putting on the mask, they'd go down the lift. After putting on the mask, yeah, and the next feeler would come right in. On the way back, it was the exact same thing, but in reverse.
They'd come up one by one, return the mask, and head up out of the storeroom.
Wow, that's pretty thorough. Masks data jotted down in my organizer. How many participants were there? 11 people altogether. I counted each of them as they made their way down. What happened? I'll have you know I wasn't just laid up behind the statue the entire time. Then where were you in the beginning? The beginning? Well, don't you worry yourself about that, you hear? So she was hiding behind the statue the entire time. I watched the folks coming in and while lurking in the shadows, all secret agent-like. Note to self, secret agents like to lurk in the shadows. And then they used that lift over there to get down to the auction site. After they all went down, I watched the whole thing from the lift. Did that lift stay down the entire time? No, it came back up, but there's a tiny gap in the floor there. There's a bit of space between the floor and the lift platform, you see? So I could see just about everything that was going on down there. Then did you see the person who was conducting the auction? Well, yeah. You betcha I did. What kind of story would this be if I didn't know who the conductor was? The conductor, huh? It seems I'll need to ask her for more detail. Do you have any more information about this so-called conductor? You know, I came here to get me a scoop. What makes you think I'll give up my info to you all willy-nilly? Basically, what you're saying is you don't know. Ah, I see. So that's why she won't answer. What can I say? I couldn't even tell how old they were, or if they were a guy or a gal. Can you tell me what the person was wearing at the time? Well, one of the masks. They had on a white jacket and with a purple flower, and they were wearing white gloves. Wearing the same thing as the victim, I see. But you know, that don't mean much when I have no earthly clue who they really are. So the conductor's identity was hidden just like the participants. That's right. They had on a mask and voice changer just like everyone else. What kind of mask did this person wear? It was a Zervan mask, I reckon. Zervan. What in blazes is that supposed to be? Mr. Edgeworth, you don't know about Zervan? He's the sworn enemy of the global hero Onyankopon. Onyankopon? Zervan, the ruler of time. Seriously, who hasn't heard of him? Most people, I'd imagine. Since the conductor wore a mask, I assume you were not being able to see under their face. Wait, what? Not even a teeny weeny bit, and after I came all this way for my big scoop. This whole story's turning out to be nothing but fool's gold. Conductor's clothes. The conductor wore a white jacket with a purple flower, white gloves, and a mask. Age and gender unknown. That set of clothes seems familiar. Perhaps I should show her that piece of evidence.
You said the conductor wore a white jacket with a purple flower and white gloves.
That's right, they sure looked spiffy for a criminal mastermind. Was it the victim, perhaps? Did they look anything like this? Hey, that's it! That's the conductor! Hold your horses. Are you telling me the conductor is dead? She is the victim of a case we are investigating. I mean, it happened in that same building and you don't know? Her name is Jill Crane. Have you heard of her? Can't say I have. So she was a lady, huh? What kind of gal dresses like that? She get her kicks by fooling me into thinking she's a guy? I doubt that her intention was to deceive you. Setting that aside, we have established something of major importance. The victim was the conductor of the black market auction. So the conductor was killed. Then that might again explain what, Miss Hart. And no, it's nothing. Honest, Miss Hart, you clearly sounded suspicious just now, and I'm telling ya, I ain't. Can't be. Sorry, were you trying to say something? No, I ain't. I ain't said nothing. Please, don't be like that. Just tell us. How many times do I gotta tell y'all? I'm a journalist. Information is what pays the bills. I can't just go around spouting everything I know. I've already said too much. I got nothing left to say to y'all. Then, what if I found some fingerprints for you? What good would that do to me? I don't want none of your dusty old prints. Why don't you two follow my example and do some investigating on your own? Yeah, I am a bit tired, yeah. I'm trying to stay focused on this, though. I guess you won't tell us anything. Not to worry, Emma. Just leave it to me. I have a certain method of drawing out information from those who wish to hide it. Logic chess? If my opponent's lips are sealed, I will be the one to unseal them. Let us begin. I should drink something. Hold on. Okay. First, let's analyze my opponent's demeanor. I ain't telling you nothing, so quit wasting my time. She seems rather impatient, as if she's trying to cut off the conversation. I must be careful with my time. I won't have long to consider my responses. I'm almost certain that she's hiding something from me. Yeah, but at the same time, I'm eager to see where this story is going. That's where I'll begin my attack. Now, time for the first move. Let's calm down and talk this over. Don't you think you're overreacting a bit? I'm always calm. Now leave me alone. Wait and see. A real journalist always keeps her cool. Speaking of journalists, I have something interesting to tell you. Oh yeah, we met the student, is that it? Yeah, a few days ago I met another self-proclaimed journalist. She spoke with an accent quite similar to your own. She spoke like me? Then maybe it was your student? Nicole Swift, ah yeah, that's it, yeah. She had a distinct way of speaking, one very much like your own. Furthermore, she said that she had a mentor. Could she have been referring to you? Oh, so you know Nicole. Well, ain't that a fun little coincidence? Where did you all meet? Wait, no, stop trying to get me to spill the beans. Phew, that was a close call. It seems that she lets down her guard when she talks about Miss Swift. This could be a useful clue. I want you to tell me everything that you know right now. No way, Jose. I ain't spilling my guts to someone I have no connection with. Perhaps I should use that clue. He wasn't joking when he said that he doesn't have a lot of time. Time depletes pretty quickly when it's against her. Don't we have a mutual acquaintance with your apprentice? Oh, well, that's... I reckon it would be mighty cruel of me to give Nicole's friends the cold shoulder. Then why don't you share with us what you know? Well, when you put it like that, I guess I could let you in on my scoop. No, I ain't falling for your nasty tricks. No, sorry. Your scoop. Be-doo. No, just forget it. It ain't nothing important. Do you have a scoop? Do you have a scooter? Such a slip of the tongue. It's hardly becoming of a journalist. You have a scoop, don't you? Now, tell us what it is. Alright, you got me. I had me a perfect scoop. But I ain't telling you what it is. I'm gonna sell the story to a publisher. The information she is hiding could be vital to the investigation. I need to make her talk. Next, I will press her on the contents of her scoop. She may be quick to lose her temper, but she's even quicker to loosen her tongue. She is not a difficult opponent. Now, to extract the information I need. Is it related to the black market auction? Does this scoop of yours have something to do with the black market auction? What are you talking about? I don't know nothing about that. Weren't you in the middle of infiltrating the black market auction? The only logical conclusion is that your story has something to do with it. You ain't getting any answers from me. I didn't hear nothing. You didn't hear what exactly? Did you hear something during the auction? No, that's, I just heard a weird sound is all. It ain't even worth mentioning in my article, just forget about it. There's no question, something happened during the black market auction. She heard a strange sound. This could be a useful clue. Does your story pertain to an incident of some kind? Well, maybe it does, and maybe it doesn't. That's hardly a clear answer. Why are you always hollering at me? I ain't done nothing wrong. I just snuck in to do some investigative reporting. You were trespassing, no? You didn't do anything wrong? That's a bold statement. Considering you're currently trespassing on private property. Hey, you're doing it too. Well, I guess a prosecutor has got the right to investigate wherever they please. Yeah, journalists, not so much. I probably shouldn't mention anything about the current state of my employment. Yeah, there are far worse people in the world, you know. I reckon I'm a saint compared to folks who murder. Is your scoop about the murder incident? Considering what you just mumbled, is it possible your scoop has something to do with a murder incident? Hey, I was only talking in general terms, you know. I mean, anyone would look like a bag of roses compared to a murderer, right? It sounds like you're just making excuses to me. All I did was gather info on the black market auction. A murder incident? I don't know anything about that. I ain't seen or heard nothing. Perhaps I should use that clue. I was almost out of time. It's about time we got to that point. Didn't you say you heard something strange during the auction? If it stuck out to you so much, it must not have been a sound that you would normally hear. For example, the screams of a murder victim. How'd you keep figuring everything out so quick? That's right, I stumbled upon a murder in the middle of my stakeout. But please, don't make me say any more. This is the biggest scoop I've had in a while. Perhaps you mean to say the only one you ever got? The murder that she overheard. It's most likely the same incident we are currently investigating. This is bound to be crucial information. I'll finish this by confirming the credibility of her information. She has nowhere left to run. It's time to deal the final blow. Did you really stumble upon a murder? You calling me a liar? Them's fighting words. Wait and see, I guess. I'm a bona fide journalist. I would never publish lies in my articles. Faster and more accurate than anyone, that's my motto. Her motto, huh? This could be a useful clue. I should keep it in mind. Tell me what you know about the murder incident in full detail. Well, my memory ain't what it used to be. Not much I can talk about. I ain't the most attentive cat in the world, you see. Perhaps I should use that clue. I'd hardly expect a bona fide journalist to be so inattentive. Didn't you just say your motto is to be faster and more accurate than anyone? Well, that's... As I expected, the credibility of your information is suspect. But I know what I heard. I even got proof. You have proof? How is that possible? Explain yourself at once. I got me some evidence. Wait, you heard that? Well, I was just talking to myself. Y'all just go on and pay it no mind. It seems she's still hiding something. This is an important clue. Let's pick the only one we haven't picked yet. Tell me the truth. I know you're still hiding something from me. I ain't hiding nothing from nobody. I already done told you everything I know. Yeah, I used a clue. Isn't there something you haven't told me yet? You have evidence regarding the incident you witnessed. Something definitive enough to publish in an article, like a photo maybe or something. What in tarnation? Let me off the hook already. Fine, I'll tell you everything. I'll even show you the photo I took if you stop harassing me. That good enough for you? Checkmate. Nice. I lost. I really lost. The mouth of the South has been defeated. It wouldn't be a first. Now then, it's time to come clean. Tell me everything that you know. I was watching the auction. Gathering info for my story. You didn't just watch though. You got shocking photos too, right? A little while after the auction started, someone won a bid and the conductor banged the gable. Someone hollered, "We'll finish the deal upstairs," or something like that. That ain't good, I thought to myself as I hurried back to hide behind the statue. Did you see whoever came up? Not quite, but I reckon the fella that came up was the winner of the bid. I could smell the buttery aroma of big fat wads of cash. Buttery aroma? I can't imagine that at all. A buttery aroma of cash? I reckon this room is where the bidders ponied up the dough for their purchases. The two of them talked for a while. Wait, there was a second person in the storeroom? You betcha. I reckon it was the conductor. And then, out of nowhere, one of them started screaming. Almost scared my britches off. I rolled myself up into a ball and kept on laying low. So you witnessed the murder? Well, I wouldn't say that I witnessed it, but I definitely heard it though. Didn't you try to stop them? Just stop right there. That ain't even funny. What's a dainty little thing like me gonna do? Dainty. After that, I heard me some rustling and bustling. The whole time I was really regretting coming down here for something fierce. Well, yeah, that makes sense, I mean. But nothing gets in the way of lot of heart in our photos. This was my big scoop. Ain't no way I was gonna let it slip away. A bit later, I hear this loud thud. I figured it was my last chance to snap a photo from behind the statue. Well then, would you please show us a photo? Oh, why do you have to? This is, aha, the person in the red raincoat who attacked Ray. Guess who's black? Black again. No, you're Jeff, not Larry. The person in the red raincoat who attacked Kay. The person in the red raincoat assaulted the victim in the storeroom. And then attacked Kay on the roof. Load as photo data. Jot it down on my organizer. There's only one person in this photo. Where is the victim? Yeah, I thought it was strange too. Poor Reedy. I've written black so many times he now reads back as black. That's because I'm back in black. Could have sworn there were 2 of them, but when I looked, there was only the one. But that's gotta be the killer, don't you reckon? So she's saying the victim disappeared. The murder may have occurred in the storeroom during the auction. You were able to tell this person was the culprit just by looking at it? You're a master. Hardly. You were able to tell this person was the culprit just by looking? Their hand was stained bright red, so I figured it was them. What happened to the auction after the murder? Nothing really. It just went on like normal. I guess those rich folks didn't give a hoot. They got some nerve. The nerve of a journalist is nothing to scoff at either. Although that's testimony jotted down in my organizer. Okay. If we assume that the murder took place in this storeroom, then we must conclude that the body was here as well. Huh? Isn't that pretty obvious? Do you remember how the participants left the auction? Of course, they'd pass through this storeroom on the way back from the auction. Ah, exactly. The culprit had to hide the body so that the participants wouldn't discover it. The real question is, where was the body hidden? Emma, would you mind lending me a hand? Leave it to me. What do you want me to do? Let's see. Use your luminol reagent to test for a blood reaction, if you would, please. Okay, let me show you the power of science. The glint in her eyes is getting brighter by the second. Let's start by examining that ladder over there. Based on Miss Hart's picture, the person in the red raincoat headed towards that ladder. Chances are, something will turn up if we check there. Just touch anything you want to examine. If you do that, you'll be able to spray the luminol reagent at it. If there's a blood stain on the spot where you sprayed, you'll get a reaction like this. Even so, no matter how many times I see blood stains, they're always so gruesome. There's a blood reaction here, but it's kind of faint. Let's spray it with luminol 2 or 3 more times, so it'll be nice and clear. Yeah, except, well, I don't know if it's true or not, but I heard in a TV show that if you use too much luminol, you can destroy the evidence, actually, because then the strands of DNA break because of the luminol or something like that, so that the DNA cannot be identified anymore, or something like that. If you spray too much of it. Yeah, science! You can see it clearly now. It looks even more gruesome than before. Do you understand how to look for bloodstains now? There are probably a few more bloodstains here, so why don't you give it a try, Mr. Edgeworth? Yay! Found more, okay. Yeah, and you'll notice that it's on the left side of the ladder, because the guy had it on his left hand. Well, guy or gal, actually, we don't know. But I suspect that it might be Shelly the killer, actually. Let's search the rest of the storeroom for bloodstains, just like that. Okay. First, let's look for a place to spray the luminol reagent. Well, the body might have been hidden in that trunk there. You want to examine this spot? Let's spray luminol on every suspicious-looking crook and granny. Aw, poor crooks and grannies. Aha! It's a good thing it's a game. You don't need to worry about using too much of anything. Yeah, you can't even run out. Also. However, why is there a bloodstain in a place like this? Maybe something that had the blood on it was stored inside. A bloodstain was found inside the costume trunk at the storeroom. Didn't I have a logic about where was the body hidden? Mr. Edgeworth, there are places that we haven't checked yet. So let's continue our investigation. Oh, I can't use logic at the moment? It's not gonna let me. Yeah, I want to examine this spot. Let's preliminal on every suspicious-looking crook and granny. Doesn't seem to be any on this one. Ah, no, never mind. I spoke too soon. Mr. Edgeworth, there is a reaction. It's a bloodstain. But why in a place like this? Perhaps this was where the murder took place. Ah, it looks like some of the blood dripped down to the floor below. Blood on the hidden lift data jotted down in my organizer. Looks like we found all the bloodstains in this storeroom. It seems we have investigated the storeroom sufficiently. Does that mean we can leave now? Now I have access to logic. I didn't before, it was a bit weird. The reason why we found the bloodstain in the costume trunk is because the murderer hid the body in that box. I wonder who won the bid for it, the trunk I mean. That I don't know. In a certain way, everything worked out exactly as someone wanted. Hold it, I couldn't have been in that dressing box. What do you mean? She'd know about it, wouldn't she? Because didn't she hide in one? In the second game, actually, in the second Ace Attorney game, there was a box for clothes that someone hid inside of, but wasn't it her? I can't recall now. It was just the right size and would have made the perfect hiding place. That's what I thought anyway. But I couldn't. I know it might have been Pearl, I think, that was hiding in a box like that. I think. That's what I thought anyway, but I couldn't get the damn thing to open. It had been wrapped up real tight with a lock chain. The murder happened after that, so hiding a body in there would have been impossible, you know? A chain wrapped around it? That's a bit strange. Right now, it doesn't seem to be locked up at all. Huh? That's weird. Maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me or something. Costume trunk data jotted down in my organizer, okay. And with that, I believe we have examined everything there is to examine here. Well then, let's head on down. Oh, have we decided on our next destination? Hey, Kay! Yes, Mr. Shields? We wouldn't want you to get lost, so make sure you stay real close to Uncle Ray, Kay? Right, I'll follow you closely, Mr. Shields. These two. Since when did they get along like that? No one examined Granny left, yeah. Hey, we're right in front of the statue where that blood puddle was. Whoa. Mr. Edgeworth. Hi there. So apparently, you don't need a key card to gain access to the PIC meeting room or something like that. If you were to use the lift that's on that 51st floor, you could gain access without having to pass through authentication using the key cards. This place is... Is this the auction hall? No, it's the meeting room from before. Ha! Ha ha ha! Wah, ha, ha, ha. How nice of you to drop in, Kay Faraday. You've got some guts. Hey, you guys, arrest her! Arrest her! Wait, Kay is... As for the rest of the riffraff, just show them out the door. This is tyranny! Yeah, it's tyranny, pal. I like how he calls everyone pal. Even the girls. Like, pal? Miles, this is kinda bad. The light of justice shines above me. Ayarg! Ouch! Why, me too? Oh, that's strange. I was aiming for that weak ex-prosecutor. You were clearly aiming at me. Maybe something got in my way, particularly... Yark! Right around there. Francisca. Just what do you think you're doing here, ex-prosecutor Miles Edgeworth? I do not believe that Kay is the culprit behind this incident. You're just an ordinary man without investigation rights. What you say does not matter. I am Francisca von Karma. I will never stop moving forward. However, you chose to quit. The outcome of our battle has already been decided. I cast away my badge because it became a millstone around my neck. I shall continue moving forward, even without it. The path I walk will surely lead to the truth. My actions are driven by that belief, and that is something which will never change. So you're saying that you found a path to the truth? Then show it to me. But if that path proves to be a foolish one, it will not survive my whip. And that's a pretty cool whip. The victim used her key card and entered this room with the culprit. Then, the culprit stabbed the victim in the chest with the candelabra, killing her. Shouldn't the letter make it obvious who the culprit is? Of course, the crime scene was right here in this room, the PIC meeting room. The proof is the bloodstain we found here in the meeting room. That settles it, Miles Edgeworth. Ms. Von Karma seems really confident, doesn't she? I see, she's a fiery one, isn't she? I don't mind the feisty cutie, so how about an introductory hug? How repulsive. Well, Miles Edgeworth, can you break my logic? If you truly have no intention of stopping here, prove it to me with evidence. Very well, I'll show you, Francisca. The evidence that paves my path. Rebuttal. The victim used her key card and entered this room with the culprit. Well, we've already established that it is possible to get in the room without using a key card. Then the culprit stabbed the victim in the chest with the candelabra, killing her. Shouldn't the letter make it obvious who the culprit is? Of course, the crime scene was right here in this room. The PIC meeting room. Are you sure about that? The proof is the bloodstain we found here in the meeting room. That settles it, Miles Edgeworth. No, because we found blood elsewhere. I wonder if anyone has ever gotten close to Francisca. She would have probably whipped them before they could get close enough. Yeah, except for her father, yeah. Well, I guess Miles did when they were growing up, if memory serves me correctly. The blood in the meeting room was found in front of the statue of Lady Justice, was it not? To murder someone before Lady Justice. This culprit knows no fear. I wonder about that. Have a look at this piece of evidence. Blood was found in the storeroom right above the meeting room. As you can see, there are signs that it has dripped down onto the floor below. And right under the hidden lift is the statue of Lady Justice. Then you understand, the murder did not take place here. The killer murdered the victim in the storeroom and then moved the body to this room. What Lady Justice witnessed was a coward trying to conceal their crime. And not the moment of the murder. She's smiling. Pardon me, I just remembered a conversation quite similar to this one. As I expected, Miles Edgeworth. Such naivete couldn't possibly be an act. Just how was Mr. Edgeworth naive? Ouch! Shut it, Scruffy! Have you forgotten, or are you just playing the foolish fool? The amount of blood in the meeting room is clearly greater than in the storeroom. Please don't just hit me and then ignore me. Yarg! Such a large amount of blood couldn't have simply dripped from the floor above. And even if it had, there should have been much more blood left behind in the storeroom. The murder could not have occurred anywhere other than this meeting room. You're as predictable as always, Francisca. What? The difference in the amount of blood is just as you say. The question is, why does such a difference exist? That issue is trivial. I've already explained it with my perfect logic. In that case, how do you explain the blood that was found in the storeroom? I don't suppose you're going to tell me that it somehow sprayed all the way up there. Like a water fountain? No way! Exactly, it's impossible. In other words, the reason for the difference in the amount of blood is... the amount of blood in the meeting room and the storeroom are different because... the weapon was pulled out here. The victim died of a stab wound. Naturally, there would be a significant amount of blood loss. That's obvious just from looking at the bloodstain. But that's so weird. She was attacked in the storeroom, but there was less blood found there than... Yauk! Yeah, because if the holes from which the blood would have been coming out were plugged by the weapon, then the victim wouldn't have bled so much, I guess. Silence, you third-rate prosecutor. But I'm the best! Ow! Do you know when you lose the bone's blood after getting stabbed with a sharp object? Ah, I know. It's when the sharp object is pulled out, right? Precisely. After being stabbed with the candelabra, the body was moved to the meeting room. And then the murder weapon was pulled out right here in this very room. That would account for the difference in the amount of blood that was left behind. But why would the culprit go through all that trouble? Most likely to give the impression that the murder occurred in the meeting room. It seems Miss Crane's keycard was used last night. Well, that's what she says anyway. But for some reason her name was not there last night. But based on the time of use, it must have been a ploy by the culprit to mislead us. In all likelihood, it was the culprit who used the keycard to enter the meeting room. Why would the culprit have needed to do that? Perhaps they feared that the storeroom would be found out during the investigation. If they were involved in the auction, they would not have wanted it to become public. Was it left behind to hide the storeroom's existence? The auction, you say? Perhaps you should go upstairs and see for yourself what items are on display. I'm sure that will allow you to understand what occurred here. Impressive, Miles Edgeworth. You're willing to go that far to protect her. There's something big lurking behind the scenes of this case. Kay simply got caught up in it. You're exaggerating. Am I now? More than anyone, I would think you'd understand the significance behind all this. Why would you, a prosecutor working with Interpol, be involved in a domestic case? Wasn't your objective to crush a certain international smuggling ring? If your search for smuggled goods has led you here, then isn't this feeling I have related to the case? I'm relieved. You haven't lost your touch, even though you've turned in your badge. Why, well, why should one thing be tied to the other? Really? Doesn't make any sense. I've heard about your situation from Scruffy over there. Thank you, Scruffy. Sorry, sir. I just wanted to help out somehow. A wise decision, detective. Francisca, are you the one in charge of this case? Isn't Interpol pursuing the black market auction? And what if I am? That's not something you need to know. So you know about all this from the very beginning. You knew the black market auction was being held. Right here. Hey, mind if I butt in? About that gal who turned up dead. You! Hey, I ain't done talking yet. Aye! You ain't changed a lick. This case doesn't need even a fragment of your faulty testimony. Well, your testimony was more often than not unreliable in the past, so, what are they saying? I'm a bona fide journal. Ow! Back then, you gave false testimony. Elizabeth Karma seems to really dislike Loda. I can't say she's fond of her. Ain't that Crane gal one of them PIC members? She's the spitting image of the conductor. I reckon she's... Ouch! She hit me again. What is the meaning of this? Answer me, Miles Edgeworth. From Miss Hart's testimony, we obtained a description of what the conductor was wearing, and it matches what the victim, Jill Crane, was wearing. You mean to say, the one who was murdered was the conductor? Miss Von Karma, maybe you should calm. Aye! It would seem that a new fact has just been brought to light. Indeed, I came here in pursuit of the black market auction. in order to arrest the organizer of the event. In other words, the conductor. If we believe Miss Hart's testimony, then the conductor is already dead. Wouldn't this mean that your investigation has ended in vain? That's right. However, I swear on my name that I will not return empty-handed. I challenge you, Miles Edgeworth. A challenge is fine, but why is she readying her whip like she's out for a victim of our own? I will concede your argument. The murder occurred in the storeroom, correct? That would mean the culprit is someone who participated in the auction. If that photographer is correct, the victim was the conductor, and the culprit was a customer. The culprit waited for the victim in the storeroom where the goods were delivered. Then they stabbed the victim in the chest with the candelabra in the storeroom. That is all. I trust you have no objections. Unfortunately, that is not the case because there is a hole in your testimony. As expected of Mr. Edgeworth, I didn't notice anything at all. Well then, please settle this with one blow. Yes, of course. Watch as I crush your logic. Francisca's logic part 2. I will concede your argument. The murder occurred in the storeroom, correct? That would mean the culprit is someone who participated in the auction. If that photographer is correct, the victim was the conductor and the culprit was a customer. The culprit waited for the victim in the storeroom where the goods were delivered. Well, did he? What did she say again? The black market auction was being held in the Grand Tower. The items up for auction were pieces of evidence for the past cases. 11 people attended the event. Each one of them was wearing a mask. Yeah, no, not really. Can't do that here. Miss Hart was in the storeroom at the time. Could the culprit really have been waiting there? I don't know where she was hiding, but since you've seen it, you must know as well, there are numerous hiding places in that storeroom. So the culprit was hiding while they waited for the victim to arrive. I believe the crime occurred after the auction ended. No, because we just read in the testimony of Loda that the auction continued even after the murder. During the auction, the organizer would have to be in front of the customers the entire time. After the auction ended, please add that statement to your testimony. Yeah. That's what she said, right? Yeah, okay, last line. As I thought, you were one step behind. What did you say? The victim was not the conductor, and I have proof. Miss Hart's testimony. That photographer's testimony is not trustworthy. What are y'all saying? I'm about to finish your... Ow! Cease your idle chatter. Yow! Francisca, calm down and listen. Miss Hart witnessed a part of the murder. The main point here is that after witnessing the murder, she says the auction continued. That's right. Sure as can be. They all just kept going on shamelessly. Do you think the auction could have continued without someone conducting it? If the victim was not the conductor, the person killed must have been a customer. No! Maybe she was buying Kay's thing there, the book, right? As I said from the beginning, Kay is not the culprit. After all, she herself was attacked by someone and lost consciousness, in which case that would also make her a victim. If the auction continued after the incident occurred, yes, and the victim was not the conductor but a customer. That's enough, that voice. Let me guess. Courtney? Why am I not surprised? Order in the court. The chairman will now enter. Order in the court. We're not in court. My, no need to be so stiff. Actually, feel free to call me Blazy. Blazy. Well then, Blazy, what brings you here? He calls his dad Blazy. Huh? Well, I just wanted to see if my idiot son was working hard is all. Is this kind of father-son relationship really healthy? I had come to light a fire under you, but it seems I found an unexpected bonus. To think that the criminal who has become the talk of the town would be here, of all places. Everyone, restrain the suspect at once. Please wait, Kay Faraday is not the cult. Silence! Oh boy. This is quite troubling, Edgeworth. Didn't I tell you earlier? The PIC desires a swift resolution to this case. If it's not, we could lose our trust with the public. They'd call us the waste of time committee. You know, it's troubling for me as well, that sort of thing. And at my age, too. And on top of that, an illegal investigation is not something that I can overlook. Have you forgotten? You are no longer a prosecutor. You have lost all your authority. Furthermore, you have aided a criminal in evading the law. I did no such thing. She escaped of her own accord. And I found her for you, when you failed, miserably. So, how'd you like that? Yes, that's right. You're so reliable, Courtney. I am aware of the consequences of my actions. You may punish me as you wish. However, we have found a new suspect. It's the person pictured here. Kay Faraday was attacked by this person and... overruled! There is no need for your explanation. Just recently, a red raincoat was discovered in the vicinity of this building. The victim's blood and cherry blossom petals were found on the hood. I actually said that if Kay was standing under the cherry tree while it was blossoming, there might have been petals on her clothes. But I guess, yeah, they were found on the hood, I guess. Cherry blossom petals, now that you mention it on the viewing platform. Yes, they probably stuck on due to the blood. They were littered around the bloodstain. And we've received the forensic report on the blood, you know. There's no doubt about it. The person in that photo is the victim, Jill Crane. What did you say? Worn by the victim's fingerprints and blood were found on the hood. Impossible. That would completely destroy the foundations of our logic. Yeah, indeed, it's not good for us. We had to believe the person in the red raincoat was the culprit. And now it turns out that person is actually the murder victim. Wait! If that's the case, then the prime suspect would be... Miss Faraday, you met a person in the red raincoat on the rooftop, did you not? Yes, I did, but... the person in the red raincoat was the murder victim, and Kay Faraday came into contact with that person. Since one of the parties is now dead, what happened next should be clear. Kay was attacked by that person. As the victim, it would be impossible for her to be the culprit. There is no evidence that she was attacked, is there? Furthermore, we must consider the possibility that the victim fought back. It's far too early to come to that conclusion. Kane is not the criminal. You're wrong. Okay, that's wrong, even though I don't want to believe it myself. After hearing about the raincoat, I finally remembered. I only remember a little, but from what I saw that night, the culprit is me. I remember looking down at the person in the red raincoat. Mr. Edgeworth, it was me. The culprit was me all along. That can't be right. Then why? Why do I have that memory? That person collapsed before my eyes, engulfed in a pool of blood. Why didn't I do anything? It must have been because I killed her. It is clear to me the validity of Kay Faraday's memory. Didn't you doubt it until just now, pal? Yeah, she did actually. Congratulations, Miss Faraday. Your courage will surely allow you to be forgiven. Now let us rejoice in the blessings of the goddess of law. Allow me to give my opinion as an international prosecutor. Her actions as a criminal are... Hurry! Arrest Kay Faraday at once! How dare you behave that way before me? You're being too forceful. Further verification is necessary. I'd even go so far as to say that it's unlawful. Unfortunately, the law does not side with you. It sides with me, you see. But you know, the beautiful bond between you two has been etched deeply into my heart. And he cries. That reminds me, we seem to have forgotten one additional suspect. Edgeworth, that's you. What's that, pal? Mr. Edgeworth hasn't done anything wrong. I beg to differ. That's right. You see, he's no longer a prosecutor, sadly enough. Your actions have gone too far this time. In the legal investigation and assisting in the escape of a criminal. I cannot even think of you as a former prosecutor. Now, humbly accept your punishment. Oh yes, that's right. I believe the plan for today was to hold your hearing before the PIC. Why don't we leave the hearing for tomorrow? Even though the result is already crystal clear, you should think long and hard about what you've done. Very long and very hard. Court is now adjourned. What, I'm being arrested? Oh. What a turn of events. Is it the same cell, by the way? The one we already investigated once? If not, it resembles it. This is the second time I've been in this cell. Ah, yeah, okay. All of my evidence has been taken from me. The only thing I have left is Kay's Yatakarasa's badge. I'm worried about Kay. Is she alright? The culprit is me. I remember looking down at the person in the red raincoat. Mr. Edgeworth, it was me. The culprit was me all along. You have a visitor. Please hurry out. Who could it be? Someone by the name of Dick Gumshoe. Will you turn him down? No, it would be hard to face him though. Wait there. He's not going to stay and keep watch? Pardon me. What the... Judge Courtney. Hush. Please, have a seat. What's up with you? Why are you here? I was told the detective had come. If I didn't instruct them to tell you that, you wouldn't be sitting here right now. I can't think of anything she'd need from me at this point. I should try to figure out what she wants. Your visitation rights have been restricted to begin with. It's as if I'm some monstrous criminal. I suppose my credibility has hit rock bottom. But of course your friends have fared a little better though. That lawyer and that girl were both quite worked up. Mr. Shields and Emma. When I last saw them, they were giving one of the guards quite an earful. What? You don't mean? Be grateful, the goddess of law has been quite busy. They were spared punishment. It certainly seems like you have plenty of time for small talk. Oh yes, Prosecutor von Karma is presently continuing the investigation. You were worried about them, right? I guess she's alright through me. Let's cut to the chase. Exactly what are you planning? I am not planning anything. There is merely a question I wish to ask. You're asking me? Yes, of course. Who else is here? Objectively speaking, you are a clever individual and you have a sharp mind. As a prosecutor, you are highly talented and capable. Are you being ironic? Your sarcasm falls short. I am being completely sincere, and that is why I cannot understand. Take this case, for example. You're up against the PIC. There is no chance for you to come out on top. Even a child could understand, and yet, you... Heh. Perhaps my younger self would not have done something so reckless. The me from before had power, that's why I thought justice was on my side. Just like you right now. However, because of a certain man, my self-centered sense of justice was broken down. Ever since then, I began to see people in a different light. I am able to serve as a prosecutor only because of the support of the people around me. People like Detective Gumshoe and all the other investigators, and Kay as well. Honestly, even I'm surprised at how much I have changed. I see, is that how it is? I've come to understand you a little more. Understand me, not likely. Someone like you who forces her own sense of justice onto others could never understand. I wonder about that. Is that what you think? That's the part of you that you're showing to people anyway. If I could say one thing, it would be that this conversation has been very interesting. That is all. Fruitless was more what I had in mind. Our conversation is coming to an end, however. I have one last thing to tell you. The date of your hearing has been set. I came here today to inform you. Today, in the PIC meeting room, may you humbly accept your fate. If that's all you wanted to say, couldn't you have just sent a messenger? The holy words of the goddess of law simply cannot be entrusted to others. With that, Mr. Edgeworth, I bid you farewell. I shall be seeing you again later. Oh, no music? Only the sounds of footsteps. It's a simple bed. I don't expect it to be very comfortable to sleep on. If it were Detective Gumshoe, he would probably snore loudly while sleeping like a log. I may never get a chance to work with him again. However, this is the path I chose. I won't regret it. There are thick bars placed securely on the window. That reminds me, I watched a movie that had iron bars just like these. It was about a plan to escape a prison by filing down the iron bars. Of course, I wouldn't do such a thing. I don't even have a file. No, even if I had one, I still wouldn't do it. There is a poster on the wall next to the toilet. We are currently out of toilet paper. Please be prepared if you wish to use the toilet. What does it mean by be prepared? Well, there are books you could use for the same purpose. Or how about 3 seashells? There is a dining menu sitting on the desk. It seems I can get food delivered if I pay for it. Let's see, moldy white bread lunch set. Switch to moldy whole wheat bread for an extra $1. Oatmeal and grits set meal. For a limited time, get extra gruel at no additional cost. Thank goodness I'm not hungry right now. I mustn't neglect my personal appearance just because I'm in a holding cell. Prosecutor or not, this is my personal duty. My collar is slightly bent. There, a well-groomed appearance reflects a well-groomed mind. From here on, I'll need to focus myself more than ever. There's a poster hanging in the hallway. The Dice and Slice game. Roll the dice and decide your daily menu. The Dice and Slice game has been cancelled due to the warden's arrest. We sincerely apologize to everyone who was looking forward to it. There's no need to apologize for cancelling such a silly game. Some footsteps. Kay! Ah! It seems you're alright. I'm relieved, for now. You know, this is kinda touching. You look a little down, Kay. Please, cheer up. You didn't do anything wrong, I guarantee it. Please, just accept it, I'm a murderer. That's not true. Why won't you believe in yourself? What should I believe in? I mean, there's nothing. there's nothing to believe in? That's not true. Before you lost your memories, you literally jumped into my life. As a result, your words and actions have become engraved in my memories. That's the mark you left behind. How can you call that nothing? I believe in your innocence. That's why you must believe in yourself as well. Thank you, but it's no use. Look at all the misfortune I've brought upon you. If you can, please forget it all. Your memories of Cave Faraday. Okay. You know, this takes me back. In my youth, I too was a gallant. Is this the kind of justice that the PIC seeks? Justice, huh? I wonder. This man, what is he planning? Why is he pushing things forward so forcefully? It all seems too unnatural. Is there a hidden agenda? There's no time left. It's all or nothing now. Well then, I must take my leave. Hold it! Here we go again. There must be something behind it. This is gonna take some effort. Hey, I'm a busy man, you know? I'm kind of a big deal, you see. I trust this won't take up too much of my time. In order to make it out of this situation, I must break through his defenses. There are plenty of things I want to ask, but my time is limited. First, I'll ask about why he rushed the arrest. I have no intention of letting him push me around. I will overcome this difficult situation. Why did you rush your arrest? I would like a clear explanation. What are you talking about? Don't play dumb with me. You clearly did not follow the proper procedures. Okay, maybe you should pipe down a bit. Do you even know the position you're in? Wait and see, maybe? Suppose we let the criminal escape. What do you think will happen? What will happen? I would be made to take responsibility, you see. I do so hope you understand. Just take my advice and stay out of this if you know what's good for you. I refuse. Kay is innocent. You know, this is so pitiful. It brings me to tears. Why won't you just give up? Things were finally going well. Things were going well? You say. That's a strange way to put it. It almost sounds as if you personally wanted Kay to be arrested. Far more than necessary. Haven't you lost your impartiality? You think so? That certainly wasn't my intention, you see? Edgeworth, my boy, you're reading too much into it. He skillfully avoided the issue. However, I still have some serious doubts about Kay's arrest. Next, I shall ask him if the investigation was sufficient. I can't miss even the tiniest piece of information. That's the only way to break through this situation. It's hard to say that the investigation was sufficient. The arrest, was it under your authority? My, do I really look that important? The Prosecutorial Investigation Committee Chairman. It's quite a prominent title. Not that I care much for it. That was rather blunt. I'm so shocked. I could cry. I'm sorry. Flattery was never my forte. If you keep talking like that towards me, you'll never get your prosecutor's badge back, you know? But you can keep it. Let me make this clear right now. I do not live for the sake of my badge. Status means nothing to me. Do you understand? Young, so young. Let me teach you something as your senior in life. What you're saying right now, it's far too naive, you see. The look in his eyes has changed. He might respond differently to some of my questions now. Ha! This is my chance. How much time was spent on the investigation? Well, aren't you an impertinent one? Even someone like me is starting to get annoyed. What a coincidence. I feel the same way. Answer me, was the investigation sufficient? Young folks always live life in the fast lane. That's why I like to bully them. You'll regret this soon enough. You sure are quiet. Are you scared? Hahaha. Heh, ridiculous. I was just thinking about my next strategy. On how to extract information from a weepy old man. You should show some remorse, you know? Don't you get it? I hold your fate in my hands. Look unimpressed. Look unimpressed. Yeah, wait and see. In any case, even if you obtain some information, there's nothing you can do. Just give up already. I refuse. Mind if I ask why? It's simple. The truth is fading away. That's all there is to it. I see. I'm starting to understand what kind of person you are. But you know, it's all useless. It's enough to make me cry. Give it up. That girl's guilt has already been decided. Decided? How do you mean decided? That's strange. The way you said that, it almost sounds like it was decided from the very beginning. What are you trying to say? Her arrest was planned, that's what I'm saying. Yes, it's clearly unnatural. Everything is progressing as if Kay's guilt was predetermined. Wasn't Kay's arrest planned from the start? I see, that's an interesting theory. But I don't have time to indulge in your flights of fancy, you know? Why don't we put an end to this silly conversation? Curses, he's trying to get away. Before that, I must find out if the arrest was lawful. It's still very faint, but I'm beginning to see the path to the truth. I can't let this opportunity slip by. Please wait, there is still something I want to ask you. I've grown weary of our little tete-a-tete. Please, keep it short, okay? What's the basis of your arrest? Or who made this decision? Not sure there. Who was the one who made the decision to arrest her? Well, it seems to be going well. Well, I can't say I remember. Growing old is a terrible thing, you see. My memory is not what it used to be, you know? I don't have enough clues. Ah, no, okay, so I didn't pick the right one. Crud! Ah, no, not that one. My, that's a rather bold claim, you know? Anyone can shout objections at the top of their lungs, you see, Mr. Former Prodigy Prosecutor. Oh boy, this is not going well. Come on! Don't have enough information. My chance will come sooner or later. And when it does, I mustn't let it slip by. I still have more to ask you. What's the basis for your arrest? Yeah, there we go. If I put together what you have told me up until now, I cannot help but say that there is no basis for Kay's arrest. There is water. I only just noticed, but there is water in his pair of glasses actually right now. But you know, it doesn't really matter either way. You can't overturn their arrests. How irresponsible. Do you still claim to be a man of the law? My, those are some harsh words, you know? You know, you're starting to make me a little angry. Wait and see. When he's riled up like that. You see, to be honest, I really can't answer all of your questions, you know? That's just the position I'm in. You see, I'm a busy man, you know? Aren't you just pretending to be busy? That's cruel, you know? This old chunk of coal has been working like a dog. Pretending, just what do you think that would accomplish? You don't want to talk about the case. Isn't that why you're trying to get away from this place? How sad. Yes, how sad indeed. Do you really suspect little old me? And he hasn't even cried in a while. Yeah, for the water in his glasses, yeah. I do suspect you, and I'm confident about it. There was clearly no basis for case arrest. Right now he doesn't have any, though. My, have you forgotten? Wasn't there evidence? The mask, the letter, and the corsage or corsage all were found in the girl's possession. Now he has water again. I mean, that's what it is, right? You see the water flip-flopping inside or something. Not to mention, she even confessed. All of this serves to prove her crime. That's... And now it's gone. In the objections. And now it's here again. Wait and see. You see, you have no response. It's true, I have no objections. Although, there is one point that bothers me. This man seems awfully familiar with the evidence. To remember everything without missing a beat. That intrigues me, and it did say that his memory wasn't what it used to be. This could be a useful clue. Still more to ask you. Please wait, there's still something I want to ask you. Yeah, in the who made the decision thing, I think that's when he mentioned something about his memory not being what it used to. Kringle is a terrible thing, my memory's not what it used to be, you know? Yeah, that clue, yeah. There we go. Don't play dumb with me. Didn't you remember all of the evidence in full detail just now? Stop pretending to be a forgetful old man when things aren't going your way. Now then, who was the one who made the decision to arrest her? I see you're a sharp one, aren't you? You know, I wish my son could learn from you. Because he's a real idiot. I'm not interested in your son. Who made the decision for the arrest? You're a bad man, you know. Don't you already know? The one who ordered her arrest. It was obviously you. The person right in front of me. I'm certain of it. Ouch. You make it sound like I committed some kind of injustice. Guess I'll have to clear that up. My honor is at stake here, you see. Very well. I'll continue to play along with you. He takes off his goggles, glasses after he has cried, but yeah, they used animation with water in his eyes, even if he hasn't cried. Never noticed that before. Yeah. To save space, I guess. Maybe they imagined no one would notice. Maybe something like that. I'll continue to play along with you until you are satisfied. What is most crucial here is how much this man knows about this case. If I can get him to reveal that. I was almost out of time there. Well, I made a little mistake at some point, so that's normal. It's do or die. If I can overcome this, I'll reach the truth. You seem to know quite a bit. You seem pretty familiar with the case. I'm a wise man, you know. I'm familiar with most things, you see. I don't think it was very wise of you to arrest Kay in this case. I'm a very busy man. I can end this conversation anytime I want, you know? Don't you forget about that. This would have already been over if you had simply answered my questions. If you give me a proper answer, I won't take any more of your time. I will ask you once again, why are you so familiar with this case? I read the case files, you see? Honestly, it was quite a drag, you know, but it's my job, so what could I do? Because of my position, you see. I can't just skip out on it. Well, I had some time to kill, but you just said that you were busy though. So I read the whole thing, you see. Yeah, you just said you were busy. Liar. That's strange. Didn't you just say you were very busy? Aren't your faults slowly coming to light now? If you truly wish to protect your position, I would advise you to rescind the arrest order. Rescind? You really are desperate, you know. That never say die attitude, it touches my heart. But you know, it's unfortunate that all your hard work was for naught. Because we discovered her unconscious body near the crime scene, you see. What? You found her unconscious? You say. This is the first I've heard of Kay's condition when she was found. She was unconscious in the storeroom. That's right. The source of that information is classified, though. This man knows things even I don't know. Does he know the whole story behind this case? This could be a useful clue. The suspect regarding Kay. How much do you know about her? She's the suspect in this case. That's all I know, you see. Scout's honor. Perhaps I should use that clue. Something you've said feels out of place. You know about things that the crime scene investigation never revealed. Why is that? Just how much of the truth do you know? Hahaha, you're making that forceful face again. You know, it kinda makes me want to do the same. Like this. Wait and see, I guess. If he's angry. You really are a persistent one, you know. Yeah, wait and see. I will take that as a compliment. Can't you give it a rest already? At my age, my body's not as strong as it once was, you know. Yeah, you keep saying stuff like that, but there is no one else who could be the culprit besides her. She was even given that much evidence to show that she committed the crime. She was given evidence? You say. That's an odd choice of words. It almost sounds as if she did not possess them under her own will. He's gonna crack. He's gonna crack. I see. You really do have a fine eye for the details, as expected of a former prodigy prosecutor. You've already found your answer, haven't you? I'm listening, so go ahead and say it. There's no need to hold back. I have finally wrenched open the heavy door to the truth. Now, all that remains is to strike the final blow. Kay is not the culprit. My, that's a rather bold claim, you know? Anyone can shout objections at the top of their lungs, you see, Mr. Former Prodigy Prosecutor. I shall break through this with that clue. Kay was framed. The true culprit is pinning the blame on her. That is my answer. And for all I know, it might have been you. His beard catching fire, and he puts it out using his own tears. Yes, you're a clever one. It almost makes me feel bad that your prosecutor's badge was taken away, you know? Checkmate. You arrested Kay even when you knew of the existence of the true culprit. Don't toy with me. There is no way such an act would be tolerated. You sure are green, you know. That's what a prosecutor is supposed to do. It will all work out fine if you make her guilty. Who would desire such a resolution? If I had to say, maybe the PIC, and also maybe me, you know? When I heard your words just now, I could barely hold back my tears, you know? It was just so splendid, you see. And it burns me up inside. I'm not the most perfect piece of work, you know? So I can't forgive such usefulness. You say the truth is important, but you know, once you know the real value the truth holds, I wonder if you can still say the same thing. What are you trying to say? When you get to where I am, you can just create your own truth anytime you want. Kay Faraday is the culprit. That was a truth that I simply manufactured out of thin air. Good, very good. He sounds like the Emperor in Star Wars now. Good. That face, that expression. You were such a desperate one, you see. That's why I really wanted to bully you, you know. You see, even if you know the truth, there is simply nothing you can do. And that's the real value of truth. So shocking that it's to die for, you know. Why won't you pursue the truth, the true culprit? How much of the truth do you know? Do you understand now? The truth that you believe in is worthless, you see. Do it! Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you, powerless former prosecutor? You. Oh, scary. You know, I guess the friends of a heinous criminal are also quite heinous themselves. Blaze, you! And like this, you see, one more person will disappear before me. Ah, here come the waterworks. These tears of mine just won't stop, you know. Everything will be decided in today's deliberation. Well, it's obvious that he is, making it seem like Kay is the culprit. I'm behind bars because they decided that I had something to do with the murder as well, because I tried to defend the culprit, Kay. Or so they say. Kay's innocence. I will definitely prove it. Ten members are present. The quorum has been met. From here on out, let the council begin. Today's deliberation shall be about Miles Edgeworth's aptitude and ability as a prosecutor. Let our members discuss this matter with a clear conscience of the goddess of law. A clear conscience does not make me laugh. Courtney, please give us your report. On April 5th, Prosecutor Edgeworth carried out an illegal investigation and resisted arrest. He was arrested by two of our members who caught him in the act, myself and Blaze the Best. Prosecutor Edgeworth disrupted the investigation of attorney Jill Crane's murder. He claims that the culprit Kay Faraday was arrested without sufficient evidence. Even now his claim remains unchanged. Tell us more about the murder incident. On April 5th, the victim's body was found here in the PIC meeting room. Regarding the details, I, Sebastian the best prosecutor, will enlighten you. The prosecutor in charge, Sebastian the Best, will explain the rest of the details. The murder happened on the night of April 4th. The victim was one Jill Crane.
On the same night, a black market auction was being held in this very meeting room, and you're pretending that you didn't know anything about it.
If this is not illegal, why is everyone wearing masks? Pray tell. I guess Miss Crane was taking part in the auction, yep. The murder occurred in the middle of the auction, did it not? When Miss Crane was found, she was dressed like the conductor of the auction. However, based on the fact that the auction continued after the murder occurred, I deduced that Miss Crane could not have been the conductor. You weren't the one who made that deduction. Sebastian, please show everyone the basis for the arrest of the culprit. You got it, Justine. Kay Faraday was unable to bear the weight of her good conscience. I believe you mean her guilty conscience. Yes, it was her guilty conscience that drove her to confess the crime. According to her confession on the roof of this building, she met the figure in a red raincoat on the viewing platform, so Crane was wearing a red raincoat. Yes, that's correct. The culprit used the conductor's clothes as a red herring to mislead us. At the time of the murder, Miss Crane was wearing a red raincoat. It was I who discovered the raincoat near this building. He did? I'm sure it was the forensics team who found it. The higher the rank, the higher the corruption. Yeah. To be more precise, it was the forensics team under Sebastian's orders who discovered it. I thought as much. According to the blood analysis, the person in the red raincoat and Miss Crane were the same person. The decisive evidence is the culprit's own confession. She testified that she killed her. That's right. The culprit is Kay Faraday. It couldn't have been anyone else but her. Well then, Edgeworth, if you have any objections, let's hear them. I have no objections. I see. It seems all of the fight's gone out of you after whatever it is, because I didn't get to read it. It moved automatically to the next line. I have no objections to your claim that I investigated illegally. I admit to that. However, I object to the claim that Kay is the culprit. Overruled! I will testify that Sebastian's investigation was fair and just. Of course it was, Justine. Don't you know that I'm the fairest of them all? Who told you that, your mirror? Edgeworth, my boy, despite how things may seem, I actually kinda like you. If And this is just an if, you see. If you were to withdraw your objection, you might be sitting on this side of the bench tomorrow. I'll ask you one more time, Edgeworth. Do you have any objections? Don't take me for a fool. I'll advise you to watch what you say. This man is the one who should watch what he's saying. I'm talking about the case, not about the chair. I demand testimony. By all means, let me hear it. I want to know how the PIC understands this case. A testimony from us, eh? Fine then, if that's what it takes to make you happy. Courtney, give him the materials from the investigation. Sir? But that's... It's the end of the line for him. I'll let him go out in the blaze of glory. If you insist, Mr. Chairman. Just like real life, yeah. How about arresting Blaze? I'd like that. Oh, so I have evidence now. Oh, all the evidence I had before is back now, okay. For giving someone a place in the council for no reason? Like his son? I have no objections. Mr. Edgeworth, don't worry, Kay. You just watch from over there. Miss Crane went to the black market auction as a customer. The red raincoat was one of the items up for auction. We believe that she left her seat after winning the bid for it. The only exit from the storeroom is the hatch that leads to the viewing platform. Miss Crane went out to the viewing platform where she was attacked by Kay Faraday. I had something in mind actually. That's how she met her end, and that concludes my summary of the case. She had blood on her hand going for the ladder, and we found traces of blood on the ladder. Where did that blood come from? No, he offered it to Miles, and from their perspective, Miles has done some small crimes, and he just offered him a chair in the council. Yeah. If that's not a sign that they're corrupt, I don't know what is. The red raincoat was up for auction. Is that a fact? It is quite likely. The red raincoat had been a piece of evidence in the assassination attempt on the president of Zengfa, as you well know. Originally, it should have been stored in an appropriate place, but when I asked about it, I learned that it went missing. And it somehow made its way to the black market auction. Certainly a natural conclusion. My, well done, Courtney. Your explanation is as clear as ever, but you're forgetting something. I am much obliged. Prosecutor Edgeworth, will you concede defeat now? Heh. Sorry, but I don't plan on it. I see. I am relieved. Relieved? What does she mean? Come to think of it, her reason for questioning me yesterday, pardon me, remains a mystery. Just what is she thinking? Yeah, when she says that... It's that one, I think. Yeah, she already had blood on her hand before going to the platform. Yep. Photo taken just after the crime. It was taken by Loda, who had snuck into the storeroom on the 51st floor. After the conductor and another person entered the storeroom, one of them suddenly started screaming. Objection! She is coming on the good side. Well, it's... I don't know. She makes it seem like it, anyway. Judge Courtney, I have found it to be strange for a while now. Why is Miss Hart here with us? She is an eyewitness to this case. Isn't it only natural for her to be in attendance? Oh, shucks. Haha. I reckon I'm more of an ear witness than an eyewitness. Heh. It seems that gaining the trust of others isn't your strong point, Judge Courtney. Perhaps I simply do not wish to be as tactless as you. It appears you have failed to get the witness to tell you the most vital information. Please look at this photo. This was taken by Miss Hart. This photo seems to have been taken in the storeroom, and what of it? According to your reasoning, the incident took place on the viewing platform. However, Miss Hart encountered the incident in the storeroom. That's right, it had taken place just before this photo was taken, since you see blood on her hand. If that's true, then Justin's reasoning Exactly, it does not hold up. What? Miss Hart, allow me to ask you again. You saw the person in the photo with your own eyes, correct? I sure did. I seen him plain as day with my own 2 eyes. And what did you think at the time? I figured I was about to get me a big scoop, you know? I guess that makes sense. That's not what I meant. What did you think of that person? Well, I reckon she'd help me bring home the bacon. Are you mocking me? Oh shucks, don't make that scary old face. It was just a harmless little joke. The person in the red raincoat? I reckoned they were the culprits. I hope you understand now. The crime occurred in the... Prosecutor Edgeworth, I cannot understand your argument if you do not say it out loud. If you had simply asked, I would have been more than willing to explain. Explain what? The sounds Miss Hart heard may not necessarily be related to the case. That is impossible. Enough of your excuses. Was the voice that Miss Hart heard really that of Miss Crane? Such a shady conversation must have had something to do with the case. What did her voice sound like? Her voice? Well, it beats me. How was I supposed to know? They were both using voice changers. Yes, the voices Miss Hart heard had been altered by a device. We must therefore question whether or not they have any bearing on this case. You need not object just because you wish to sigh. Judge Courtney, it seems I have greatly overestimated you. No, Courtney is quite amazing, you see. You claim that the sounds Miss Hart heard have no bearing on this case. Even if they do not, it doesn't change the fact that the crime took place in the storeroom. At the very least, the crime must have occurred before the victim went up to the rooftop. The reason being... yeah, this evidence, the blood on the hand. At first I thought the person in the red raincoat was the culprit. Well, Miss Hart's testimony certainly made it sound that way. Precisely, it was because she saw that the person's hand was covered in blood. Anyone who had heard her testimony would have arrived at the same conclusion. The person in the red raincoat was the culprit, and the blood on their hand was the victim's. However, if the person in the red raincoat was the victim, then the situation changes completely. Since blood can be seen in this photo, it must have been taken after the crime occurred. It seems we've been under the wrong impression in regards to the victim's condition. This photo shows the true condition of the victim. The victim was still alive after the attack. The victim was definitely attacked in the storeroom. Immediately afterward, the victim was seen with blood on her hand. That must mean the victim was still alive even after she was attacked. The blood on her hand must have come from her own wound. No way. Are you saying that she died from a hand injury? No, that is not the case. I suspect she just held her hand against the wound. Can't be seen in the photo, but at this moment she must have already suffered a fatal wound. Oh, if that's true, then it changes a lot of things, you know? It seems you understand. This refutes the allegations against Kay. Kay encountered the victim after this picture was taken. I believe at that point in time, the victim was already on the verge of death. It's likely Kay just happened to be present when the victim reached the end of their strength, which would explain the faint memory that she has of standing, looking down at the body. That is quite the coincidence. Indeed, I can only say that she was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Prosecutor Edgeworth, it seems you have forgotten a crucial fact. Ah, you mean that, right? He must be pretending that he hasn't noticed it, you see. What did you say? Are you implying that I forgot something? Courtney, I think it's about time you gave him his last rites. Hey, Pops, Justin's with me, you know? Don't order her around like that. You know, even though you're my son, you're so embarrassing. I'm not embarrassing. I'm sorry, but you're both rather embarrassing. Justine, give Mr. Edgeworth his, very well. I shall give him his last rites. Edgeworth's contradiction. When the body was found, there were 3 wounds in Miss Crane's chest. I'm sure you're well aware what kind of wounds these were, right? Yeah, the candelabra. She was stabbed in the heart with the three-pronged candelabra. Is there any person who could survive such an injury? Please take a close look at the autopsy report. Can you still say the same thing after reading it? Well, she must have not been stabbed by the candelabra at that time. I mean, let's suggest for a second that she was stabbed with I don't know, a knife or something. So she was already fatally wounded. Yeah, so she was already fatally wounded, but then she died. And to mask the real murder weapon, someone stabbed her over the knife cut with the candelabra so that we can't see what she was really hit with. And the candelabra was left behind next to the body, specifically so that we would think that this is the real murder weapon. But maybe the real murder weapon is something else. Because the raincoat doesn't have the holes on it for the candelabra, the 3 holes. Because we have the raincoat, don't we? Yeah, there it is. Worn by the victim. The victim's fingerprints and blood were found on the hood. So she was already hurt, one way or another, but not by the candelabra. Of course I did. Well, unless she put on the raincoat after she got hurt that badly, but I think it would be the least of your worries to put on a raincoat when you're stabbed like at 3 different places on your chest by a candelabra. I suppose. Of course I did, and I still plan to object to it. It's not fair, you're always opposing me at every turn. It was never my intention to oppose you. Huh? Really? It's simply not worth my time. I see. So that's how it is. Yup. After all, I'm the best. Yeah, we know. That's enough, you know. You're embarrassing your father, you see. It's always, you know, you see, you know, you see, with the way he talks. I don't know, maybe he is supposed to have some kind of accent in Japanese. What do you mean, Pops? I drew this contradiction. When the body was found, there were 3 wounds in Miss Crane's chest. I'm sure you're well aware what kind of wounds these were, right? Yes, she was stabbed in the heart with the 3-pronged candelabra. Well, I wonder about that, because you can't see those on the raincoat, so, Chairman the Best, do you know what this is? It seems to be a red raincoat. How about it, Courtney? The victim, Miss Crane, was wearing this earlier. Prosecutor Edgeworth, must I repeat my explanation to you all over again? I suppose it just might come to that, Judge Courtney. Answer me this. This red raincoat was stained with blood. Do you happen to remember where specifically those bloodstains were located? Of course I do. They were on the hood. Wait, it can't be. What does this mean? Oh yeah, so she might have been hit on the head first, I guess. Judge Courtney, were there any other bloodstains besides the one on the hood? What kind of candelabra is so sharp? Well, either the candles on it are fake. Either the candles on it are fake, or if you've already seen candelabras, there are. Well, I've already seen different types. Some of them have holes on them, so that you can stick the candle down the hole, but others have also a pointy end so that you can like put the candle on it, and the spike at the end of the branch of the candelabra just goes through the candle and prevents it from moving. I mean, I've already seen both types myself anyway. Yeah, but I've already seen one with spikes myself. Because it's wax, you see, so it just goes right through. I guess it could be kind of sharp, maybe. None were detected. Don't you think it's strange? The victim died from a stab wound to the chest. In that case, there should have been bloodstains on the front of the raincoat, not to mention holes. However, the only blood they found was on the hood. That is a huge contradiction. The wound on the victim's head is no ordinary wound. After all, the victim sustained this wound before she was stabbed in the chest. Edgeworth slapping them hard on their home terrain. It does appear that way, doesn't it? The victim first suffered a head wound. If she had already been stabbed in the chest, the raincoat would have been stained with blood. Therefore, it is unthinkable that her chest was stabbed before she suffered the head wound. So the order of the wounds would be first the head, followed by the chest. However, does that really change the situation? With this, a contradiction is born, one that overturns all of your assumptions up until now. Is the change really that great? I look forward to hearing it. Well then, this contradiction, why don't you show it to me? With evidence. Let me check it. Victim's body was discovered in the PIC meeting room. The estimated time of death is sometime between late last night and midnight. The cause of death was stab wounds to the left chest with a candelabra. Head wound was post-mortem. Candelabras with points are sharp, but you'd have to stab it in quite forcefully. Yeah, definitely, yeah. This is the autopsy report written by Dr. Young. Actually, don't we have the candelabra in the evidence? Let's see. Yeah, it's one with the pointy hands. Yeah, so there you have it. That's the reason. And there is blood on the tips. The prongs of the candelabra are covered in blood, and the shape even matches up with the victim's wounds. Is this the murder weapon of this case? Yeah, well. Actually, this is the first time I examined the candelabra in 3D. Up until now, even though we're already so far into it by now. According to this, the head wound was post-mortem. But that's not what the raincoat shows. Yeah, there's still holes, yeah. But there are spikes for fixation, yeah. Because sometimes the candles might not necessarily be the exact diameter of the hole, you know, so they might be a bit wobbly if you were trying to move the candelabra while the candles are lit. So that way they don't move, even if they are ever so slightly like thinner than the holes themselves. Narrower, more like. Yeah, otherwise that would be pretty dangerous, yeah. Exactly, it's the exact opposite. But I've already seen those without the spikes also, though. I've already seen both types. Bailiff, hurry and summon Dr. Bonnie Young at once. Until we hear what she has to say, we cannot close the curtains on this case. Ah, it's actually the first time we see the faces of these guys, isn't it? Yes, ma'am, understood. Dr. Young is a busy person. It will take some time for her to arrive. Yeah, also she's old, so she can't really walk very quickly. In the meantime, let us try viewing this case from another angle. There's something that's been on my mind. One of the key figures in this case, the conductor. We still don't know who that person is. Is the best's father the big boss? Yep. He's the chairman of the PIC. Now that you mention it, even after our investigation, we still have no idea who it is. The conductor has come up time and time again during this hearing. However, at this point in time, their identity remains a mystery. How about it? Do you have any ideas? I'm still not sure at the moment. However, there is someone I have in mind, a certain individual involved with this case who might know something about it. Who's that? Blaze the best. I demand your testimony. What? Don't say such a stupid thing. Why would you suspect Pops? Are you trying to cast suspicion towards the chairman of the PIC? Do you understand what that means? Status and prestige mean nothing before the truth. That man is trying to pin the crime on Kay. The evidence that was in Kay's possession, the ticket stub, the mask, the corsage. These items did not come into our possession out of our own volition. By some method, that man purposely planted them on our personage. It is hard to believe such a sudden accusation, but I'll ask just in case. Why would he do that? Obviously to direct suspicion towards Kay. I succeeded in drawing out those words from him earlier. Mr. Chairman, your response. Are you too shocked to speak? And what of it? Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said, what of it? You say that you drew out some words from me, but you don't have a shred of proof, you know? No one else heard it but you. It just doesn't work like that, you see. Or do you have something else? You know, some kind of basis for your argument. This confidence. He also showed it at the cell. He thinks he's untouchable, that's why. Prosecutor Edgeworth, I would like you to explain once more. I trust we have your permission, Mr. Chairman. But of course, I'm pretty interested in this matter myself, you know. I'd like to know just what part of me seems criminal to Edgeworth. There's no one as honest as I am, you see. How can he say that with a straight face? Let's start from the top. The fact that the auction was held in this room is a cause for suspicion. This is the PIC meeting room. I imagine it would be difficult for non-members to enter. That's why all the members have keycards, you know? I think we can assume that multiple auctions have been held here before. Actually, the person who entered the PIC room at... What time was it again? 10:25 p.m. or something like that? Hold on. Or at 10:15 p.m., yeah. It says Justine Courtney, because she said so. But at first, there was no name there. What kind of person could have their name erased from the record? But the chairman of the PIC, he would be the most likely person to be able to use a card and not leave a trace in the record, right? At first there was no name, but I don't know if this is pertinent. I mean, if they would choose to go that way. I think we can assume that multiple auctions have been held here before. Therefore, suspecting a member of the PIC would be the best. Yes, because the conductor had to have been a PIC member. Pathetic, idiotic cretins. PIC. Wait, no! What? What was that all about? What do I do, Pops? I just helped the enemy. Hahaha, Sebastian really is an idiot, you know. But you see, Edgeworth, I'm not the only one with access, you know? Indeed, there are 11 members in the PIC. Even if we rule out the victim, Miss Crane, there are still 10 potential suspects. It's not me! But it couldn't be the chairman, right? I don't know who it is, but whoever it is should just come forward. Yes, yes, everyone. Just calm down, you know? I wonder what is his, speech trait in Japanese instead of, you know, and you see, you know, you see all the time. Just calm down, you know? I wonder what it is. He must have some quirk to his speech in Japanese, I guess. And so they just chose to give him another quirk in English, I guess. Oh, so you've fallen silent. You could check it? Yeah, I'm curious. So you've fallen silent. Probably something that he ends all of his sentences with, you know? Some things just don't translate. Yeah, especially there are some speech quirks in Japanese that just don't mean anything literally, so you can't really translate them. So you just have to, was that intentional? What? I don't understand your question. What was intentional? What did I say? What have I done this time? I'll continue reading for the time being, but you've gone too far, you see. I won't forgive you anymore. It's too late for regrets, you know. I'm a very important man, you see. Former chief prosecutor and chairman of the PIC. It's fine if you're not prepared to face the fire, you know. Because you see, he most likely has something that he says at the end of each sentence, you know. Oh, maybe I did it. Yeah, I didn't do it on purpose. No, most definitely not. That was accidental. Either way, it won't make any difference. Oh, his eyes were pretty scary back there. Because I'm gonna bully you. You've been rambling on for quite a while about the most trivial details, you know? Because I'm gonna bully you. Like the location of the murder, the order of the wounds, and what else was there? It just doesn't matter, you know, because you see, crap. Oh well, okay, I'll just read it again later. Think about it. We've got the suspect herself saying she killed the victim. That's all that matters. You see, she'll even get a lighter sentence with her confession. You know? You see? You know? Now then, if there are any contradictions, be my guest. How can that be considered a testimony? There must be a contradiction somewhere. That person is very important, isn't he? Mr. Edgeworth, it's alright. Let's just give up. Surely I must have killed her. I can't even remember it. Don't be tied down by your muddled memories if you want to believe in something. Yeah, and it happens all the time in the series. He thought he killed his father. Maya thought she killed, who was it again? The guy who came for, divination or something like that. It happens all the time in this game. People misremembering things. I mean, in this game series. My opponent is the PIC chairman. Taking him down won't be easy, however. Monkey thought he killed Dora the Explorer. What's the name of the monkey in Dora the Explorer again? I know in French his name, but I don't know it in English though, because it might be something different. He has underestimated me if I can take advantage of that. There is actually a monkey in there. Yeah. Yeah, there's actually one, yeah. But I can't remember though. I wanted to type money. You've been rambling on for quite a while about the most trivial details, like the location of the murder, the order of the wounds, and what else was there? It just doesn't matter, you know, because you see, none of that means anything, you know? Think about it, we've got the suspect herself saying she killed the victim. Yeah, well... She doesn't remember, so... Boots? It's quite possible, yeah. You might be right. Because it's something like that in French too. Something similar. It may be true she confessed, however that does not make it the truth. She is suffering from memory loss, so you must question the credibility of her testimony. Yeah, Boots it is. Even if you say that, you know, it still won't solve anything. What good will it do to deny your confession? Sounds like nonsense to me. Wanna try asking her again? I think she'll just say that she's the murderer again, though. Very well. Let's try asking her again one last time. I'd like to hear from Kay herself whether or not she is the culprit. Huh? From me? Will that be alright? If this goes poorly, it will be quite unfavorable for you. I do not mind. However, I shall ask Kay the question myself. I moved to tears, you know. Oh, how touching, you know, how very touching. Fine then, I'll let you ask her. However, I have one condition. If all this proves to be a waste of time... then that will be the end of it. How's that sound? The end of the hearing? Yes, yes, it seems you can be smart once in a while, Sebastian. In other words, you see, if she confesses again, Kay Faraday will be found, beyond the shadow of a doubt, guilty. Yep, it's a fine idea. Guilty beyond a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, that's right. That's harsh, but either way, if I do nothing, she'll be declared guilty anyway. Kay, yes. I know what I'm asking of you is unreasonable, but please, I want you to answer me. It doesn't matter how tiny it is. Do you remember anything? Anything that would prove your innocence? Why? Why would you go that far for me? I can't do it. I'm sorry. At some point that you know will stick to your brain and you too will start doing it, you know. Yeah, that's true, you see. I'm too scared to remember. Because I might have done something even worse if that were the case. I would only make things worse for you, Mr. Edgeworth. Kay Faraday must have been a despicable criminal. Someone who betrayed your trust. Don't worry. We've only known each other for a short while. But I know you very well. I'd even say that I know you better than yourself now that you've lost your memories. You cannot possibly be the culprit because your true identity is... this. What else could it be? The great thief Yatakarasu. The Yatakarasu is a noble thief who would never stoop to murder. Come on, this should jog your memory. No, it's useless. After all, no matter what, that memory still remains. This image that's stuck in my head, I just can't get rid of it. That means I must have... Hold it! There's no clear evidence to prove that you're the culprit besides your own confession. Remember what I said? You must believe in yourself. Or perhaps, you cannot trust my words? No, that's not it. It's because you are trying to... Ah, crap, I pressed the button a bit too quick. You've already lost so much, all for my sake. She has an image of herself in the third person? Yeah, that's kind of weird. Right? Damn, son. You've already lost so much, all for my sake. I can't bear it anymore. Please, please, just give up. I see now. I thought it was strange. The reason you were acting like you wanted to be found guilty was because you were concerned about me. That is just like you, Kay. It's because you're a good person, Mr. Edgeworth. Unfortunately, I may fall short of your expectations. I am not trying to be a good person. No matter how much you may want me to give up, I'll keep trying to save you. Delicia is a Time Lord, and she is a Space Lord. That is the nature of who I am. Whether or not it is a burden for you is none of my concern. That actually made me think of something, because I like to watch videos on YouTube of scam baiters. And often when scammers, email scammers, when they try to scam you and they provide a proof of their identity, they will scan like their badge or their passport or something, and on the same scan there will be both sides of the same item. Like how would that be possible unless it was fabricated? That's what it reminded me of, actually. That is the nature of who I am. Whether or not it is a burden for you is none of my concern. Kay, believe in yourself once more. You are a noble great thief. What you should be doubting is your memory of committing the murder. That is my wish, above all else. Please. Kay. What is it? Did you remember something? If she remembers something now, hahaha, it'd be like a bad movie. What? Crap, I pressed the button too quick again. Bull? That's what she said. Prosecutor Edgeworth, please ask her to clarify. Bull? Well, Kay, what do you mean by bull? I remember now. The person in the red raincoat had that with her. That stuffed bull doll. I'm certain of it. Is that true, defendant? Yes, Your Honor. The court hereby accepts the defendant's statement as a new piece of testimony. Objection. Hey, that's the first time we heard his voice, actually. Objection. Quit messing around, Courtney. A testimony like that cannot be accepted, you know? Your objection has been noted, sir. However, testimony about the victim's belongings has been lacking up until now. Objection. Objection this, objection that. No, you can't do this to me. Nevertheless, you know, our vague memories cannot be trusted, you know. Oh, really? Up until now, you were ready to accept her vague memories, making her say that she was the culprit. Her memories are vague. That would be bad for us as well. Didn't you say this earlier yourself, Mr. Chairman? Since we have the suspect's confession, we don't need to worry about the trivial details. Aha! Well, thank you, Courtney, for pointing it out. You might not be as bad as I thought after all, if we decide to doubt her memories. Then we must also doubt our confession, which is the main foundation of our case. Are you willing to do that, sir? You're right. Well, never mind then. I shall leave it to you. Thank you very much. We did it. It was touch and go for a while there, though. However, those words of Judge Courtney just now, it almost feels as if she is on our side. Prosecutor Edgeworth, do you know anything about this stuffed animal? I'm starting to wonder if everything that she's done so far, pretending to be on the PIC side, was to make the chairman fall, maybe, or something. But I don't know. It's too early to say that with absolute certainty. But it looks like it anyway. The stuffed animal K spoke of must have been this. We found it in the storeroom. It is believed to be one of the items for the auction. This is... Do you know something about it, Justine? No, it's just a bit different from what I imagined. Indeed, it's certainly what I would have expected... Certainly not what I would have expected the victim to be carrying. Let's examine every suspicious-looking crook and granny. Well, it's missing a horn for one thing. The left horn is missing. There's a hole in this stuffed animal. It seems this hole is where the horn is inserted into. I guess its head isn't stuffed with cotton. I wonder what's inside. Perhaps I should examine the other side. Does it come off? The right horn seems to be fine, but the entire balance feels a bit off. This horn, it looks like you can move it. What? What was that buzzing sound? It seems this toy is equipped with a recording device. And... I knew who you were right away. You can't hide that burn from me. Silence, huh? I've been waiting for my chance to get revenge all this time. Ah! Is this the moment of the murder? Who could have recorded something like this? Stuffed animal data updated in my organizer. Records audio. Someone talking to another person is recorded. One of them has a burn mark. This is... There ain't no doubt about it. This here was what I heard. We cannot verify when these voices were recorded. It's also possible that they aren't related to the case at all. If only we had some video as well. That's hogwash, I'm telling ya. That right there was the conversation that I heard. The victim was holding on to it, right? I reckon it must have been recorded when she got attacked. That certainly is a possibility. However, your testimony alone is insufficient. I require something with a little more credibility. Again, her words. It almost sounds as if she's trying to give me advice. Judge Courtney, there's no mistake that those voices were from the incident. Please recall the audio that was recorded by the stuffed animal. I knew who you were right away. You can't hide that burn from me. If we compare this part of the recording with a certain piece of evidence, we can prove it. Did the victim have a burn? Yeah. Yeah, it does actually. Okay, so it does. This evidence shows that the recording took place during the moment of the crime. The autopsy report says that she had... Well, the picture in the autopsy report shows... yeah, there, yeah, burn mark on the victim's hand. I thought I was gonna have to point it to, on the photo. I remember clearly what that voice said. You can't hide that burn from me. On the victim's hand, there was a burn mark. Indeed. It just happened to match up, you see, but what of it? According to case testimony, the victim had been holding the stuffed animal, and it just happened to record a characteristic of the victim, namely the burn. That's just a coincidence. I mean, it could happen, right? I do not think so. It is hard to believe that all of this is simply a coincidence. The voices on the stuffed animal were most likely recorded during the incident. One of these voices must belong to the true culprit. From what we've heard, it must have been the one who was doing most of the talking. But what's the point? In the end, we still can't tell their gender or identity, you know? Indeed, because they had been using voice changers, it can be helped. Yeah. It seems the situation has become quite clear. The conversation Miss Hart overheard was between the culprit and Miss Crane. That's what I've been telling you from the start. And from this, we will understand the new fact. Please, enlighten us then. I trust you have no objections, Mr. Chairman. Do what you want. According to Miss Hart's testimony, just before the incident, 2 people came up from the auction hall using the lift. It must have been the conductor and one of the auction guests. They probably went there to settle the payment after winning a bid. And then, it was there that the crime was carried out. Since the auction continued after the crime took place, we are led to a single truth. This is the new fact that we have arrived at. The culprit is the conductor. Since the conductor was the only one who could keep the auction going, we can conclude that the deceased victim could not have been the conductor. Justine, please be quiet here, okay? If the conductor was not the victim, then they must have been the culprit. Please wait, that alone is insufficient. Of course, even I do not intend to rely only upon the process of elimination. Certain traces left at the crime scene led me to believe that the culprit is the conductor. Well then, please show it to us. What were the traces left at the crime scene that led me to deduce the culprit is the conductor? This?
Take that!
The culprit purposely left a large amount of blood in the meeting room. In doing so, we were led to believe the meeting room had been the scene of the crime. It was a ruse by the true culprit to hide the blood that had fallen from the storeroom. So we wouldn't find out about the existence of the black market auction, correct? Indeed, if the culprit had been unrelated to the auction, there would have been no need to do such a thing. Ergo, the culprit could have only been the conductor. Well then, do you have any idea as to who the conductor might possibly be? The auction hall is at the PIC meeting room, and furthermore there is a storeroom above it. The conductor must have been at the very least a member of the PIC. So, in other words, you suspect me, I take it. Isn't it natural to suspect you, the one with the most authority in the PIC?
Objection.
You are quite capable, I'll give you that much at least. But you know, like I said before, you're far too naive. What is it that he always burns anyway? What's that supposed to be? You have nothing, you know. There's no evidence that proves I am the culprit, you see. If by some chance you do have evidence, then why don't you present it? Do I have evidence that Blaze is the culprit? Not now, no, not yet. I don't think so anyway. Blaze himself has suggested that he is the criminal. He's been showing that strange self-confidence for a while now. He knows that there is not a single piece of evidence left behind to incriminate him. Well, if that was really the case, then the game would be impossible to beat. But he seems to be pretty sure that I don't have it now. If you play with fire, you're gonna get burned, Edgeworth. Just kidding, I always wanted to say that, you know. Well then, Courtney. Hold it! I reckon I just remembered something too. You also lost your memories? No, that ain't it. Something just popped into my head right now. Very well, please tell us.
Objection.
Courtney, could you tell me what you are doing? Prosecutor Edgeworth will not give up until we have destroyed every last possibility. I am destroying every possibility so that he will never oppose us again. Justine, I don't really know what's going on, but well said. Pops, I'm gonna help too. After all, he's the one who's wrong. Fine then, let's hear what you have to say. Well then, Miss Hart, please proceed. Sure thing. Please make sure you only tell the truth. Ain't that no matter of A matter of course. I am bona fide journalist of justice, you know? Somehow I feel uneasy. Y'all saying the culprit was the conductor, right? That means the victim was a customer. Now here's where it gets a mite strange. You see, there were 11 people at the auction. When the auction continued after the incident, I went straight on over and snuck a peek down below. You don't mean? That's exactly what I mean. All 11 people were still there, present and accounted for. What? There were 12 masks on the wall, weren't there? Are you sure about that? Sure, I'm sure. I saw it with my own 2 eyes. So it started with 11 people and there were still 11 people after the murder? Was it a ghost? You know, Sebastian, normally a prosecutor would call that a contradiction, you know? Were there really no changes in the auction at all? Really, I'm telling ya, the auction just went on like normal. But there was one itty-bitty thing, though. What was it? You know those hammers you always see at an auction? Like the one that lady is using over there. An auction gavel, perhaps. Yup, that's the one. All of a sudden, I couldn't hear the sound no more. It had been banging away just prior to it. The sound of the gavel. Loda's testimony about the secret auction. Touch the check button for detail. It's been updated, yeah. If Miss Hart's testimony is the truth, then this matter has taken a grave turn. If the victim was neither the conductor nor a customer, the very foundation of Prosecutor Edgeworth's reasoning would collapse. Justice prevails, as they say. I hope you've learned your lesson, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth, there really is nothing we can do. It's not over yet. Some mysteries still remain. I have to think. If I don't, then Kay will be. Did you get the answer you wanted this time? Well then, a deal's a deal. Please wait, Mr. Chairman. Ah, crap. Oh, I pressed the button too quick again. Don't stop in the middle of a sentence like that. There are still a few mysteries left in this case. Until we have solved them all, we cannot call this a complete victory. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Edgeworth? I was expecting you to shout. Hold it! Like you always do. Yes, of course. Once again, Judge Courtney seems to be helping us. Well then, what is it? What sort of mysteries are left? Well, of course, there's the contradiction in the autopsy report. That kind of thing. I've brought her in. Ah, there she is, okay. What's wrong? Why were we suddenly called here? Did someone suddenly get sick? I'll begin preparing a compress that... Ouch! What'd you call me here for? Did something happen? Dr. Young, Miss Jensen, you have my gratitude for taking the trouble to come here. This won't take long, so please relax. Tell me what in blazes is going on. Of course, we called you here because something came up. Judge Courtney, just what are you planning? Bunny Young, under the divine rule of law, please answer truthfully. There were no mistakes in your autopsy report, correct? Granny would never make a mistake. That's certainly strange. Huh? What's strange? This court has found an error in Dr. Young's autopsy report. Yeah, about the post-mortem head injury? Dr. Young, please tell the truth. Did you falsify the autopsy report? That's terrible. How can you accuse her of that? I have no idea what you're talking about. Why would I do such a thing in the first place? To protect the true culprit, of course. What you talking about? I would never do such a thing. How strange. In that case, why would there be an error in the autopsy report, I wonder? Prosecutor Edgeworth, what do you think? Oh, I expected you to press into her statement like you normally do. Why is she taking control of the situation and trying to help me? I don't know what her goal is, but I must play along. If the autopsy report you gave to Sebastian had been authentic, then the error should not have been there. Wait a minute, I didn't do anything. That is what we will figure out from this point on. Firstly, Dr. Young, I'd like to hear your testimony. Why do you want to hear a testimony? It would be pointless. I will be the one who decides whether or not it is pointless, not you. There are patients waiting for us. But Granny, ouch. Anyways, we don't have time for this. Is there any way I could convince you? This is of the utmost importance. Mr. Miles Edgeworth, Granny says she'll testify, so please try to finish this quickly. If we don't return soon, there will be people in terrible suffering. and yet you were lollygagging about on the viewing platform earlier. I promise you this won't take long, only if she tells me the truth, of course. There are no mistakes in Granny's autopsy reports. I've been working with corpses longer than you've been alive. There is no way I'd make a mistake in writing the autopsy report. Well, did you write it yourself anyway? I got nothing to gain from falsifying the autopsy report, is what she says. See, there's nothing strange at all. Does she write them herself, or is it the girl who does so? What if she misunderstood? Yes, that's right. You know, there is no way she would falsify it, you see? Under the name of the goddess of law, did you swear that this testimony is the truth? Of course, Granny would never tell a lie. We were asking Dr. Young. We do not need to hear from a third party. I am not a third party. I'm on Granny's side. If you raise an objection to my testimony, you'd best prepare yourself, you ex-prosecutor. I will definitely expose the contradiction in the autopsy report. Yeah, I want to ask about that. The victim wore this raincoat after suffering... You're black now. Well, welcome, Black. The victim wore this raincoat after suffering a blow to the head, and yet there was not a single drop of blood on the front of the raincoat. Therefore, it is impossible for the head wound to have been post-mortem. Well, that's... Ouch. I don't need you to tell me that. That's what I wrote down from the very beginning. The autopsy report says the head wound was post-mortem. That's completely different. Yeah, I relate to Karen what to put down in the autopsy report. I wondered about that, actually. I suspected as much. I love the nurse's facial expressions. After that, it was none of my beeswax. Relate to Karen. Please elaborate on that. Dr. Young, please confirm what this autopsy report says with your own eyes. I'll read it out for you. This autopsy report wasn't written by me. What? What do you mean? I don't know. But Granny, I can't say that. Miss Jensen, if you are trying to keep the truth in the dark, then... In place of the goddess of law, I shall hear your confession. Judge Courtney is talking with Dr. Young in private. What? Is that true? Understood. I shall convey your words to everyone else, Dr. Young. I properly relayed the autopsy report orally to that child. It seems my granddaughter must have mucked it up when she was writing it down. Wow, she mimicked her voice perfectly. There was no need for her to go that far, though. In other words, the contents of the autopsy report had been falsified. By your hand, Miss Jensen. Oh, With that, we've proven that the wound on her head came first, followed by her chest wound. Miss Jensen, why did you falsify the autopsy report? Hold on a second, she never said she falsified it, you know? She must have made a teeny tiny mistake when she wrote it down. Post-mortem and ante-mortem sound kinda similar, you know? They are complete opposites. That is the very definition of falsification. Miss Jensen, why would you lie? Kay, ouch! I want you to tell me too, why you would do something like that. Granny, but because you falsified the autopsy report, Kay fell under suspicion. Remember to hydrate, everyone. Yeah. Tell me why you did it. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I just can't say it. Not I don't want to say, but I can't say. You're all a bunch of bullies, you know, ganging up on this poor girl who loves her grandmother so. She is totally unrelated to this. I think we can forgive her for one tiny mistake. That won't do. Aren't you the one with the most to lose if she testifies? What are you saying? You see, as a former prosecutor, you'll have to speak a little more clearly, you know. Very well, as you wish, I shall answer clearly. Miss Jensen played an essential role in this case.
She was an accomplice, she was the victim, she was the true culprit. Well, I suspect her more of being an accomplice than the others, obviously.
Miss Jensen falsified the autopsy report in order to assist the true culprit. Ah, ouch!
This girl is an accomplice. What's your basis for that claim? It was impossible for a single person to commit this crime in the first place.
The crime could not have been committed without at least 2 people, namely because the victim couldn't have been moved, the number of people wouldn't match, the report couldn't have been faked. The number of people wouldn't match, I would say, because then there wouldn't be 11 people in the auction room. If the conductor was the culprit and one of the auction guests was the victim, it would contradict the witness's testimony that there were 11 people after the incident. What now? You got a problem with my testimony? No, I'm pretty sure of my facts here. Not at all. Rather, it is because I believe your testimony. That's why an accomplice must exist. So you still won't admit that your reasoning is wrong. Up until now, we had not even considered the possibility of an accomplice. However, if there had been an accomplice, it changes the entire story completely. If the accomplice took the murdered auction guest's place, then the number of people remains 11. Oh, I see now. So that's what you're thinking. But you know, wouldn't that have been quickly discovered? Miss Jensen and the victim have similar physiques. If she wore the victim's mask, she could have easily taken her place. Miss Jensen, did you switch places with the victim? I wouldn't. Who was the conductor? In other words, tell me who was the true culprit. I can't. I mean, that would also cause trouble for Granny. Ouch. But Granny... I will accept whatever wrongs you may have done. Just tell me everything. Granny! Oh, okay. That happened, as I thought. It appears you really were the accomplice. Miss Jensen, why? Miss Jensen, would you please tell us? Yes. It's okay, Granny. I'm fine now. I switched places with the victim, Miss Crane. So you admit to being the conductor's accomplice? Yes, I helped out the conductor. I don't really know why, but for some reason, the conductor was expecting to be attacked by Miss Crane. The conductor expected an attack from the victim? They were so sure it was going to happen that they came up with a plan to counter it, a way to beat the victim at her own game, and that's when I was called in. I was told to wait in the storeroom before the auction began. Whoa there, you ain't fooling my eyes. If you were waiting in the storeroom, I reckon I would have bumped into you. After all, I'd been up in that storeroom the entire auction. I'm telling the truth. I wonder about that, you know? Can we really believe a girl who would falsify a report? Heh. There should have been many places to hide in that storeroom. Then by all means, tell me, where did our little nurse hide? The place in the storeroom where Miss Jensen hid was, the costume box thing? Costume trunk.
Take that!
Since we found blood inside, she hid inside this costume trunk. A costume trunk, hey. Now that you mention it, that box was already there before I snuck in. I figured I would hide in there myself, but it was wrapped up nice and tight with a chain. And it was locked too, so I had to give it up. I suspect that when you sneaked into the room, Miss Jensen was already inside the trunk. Yes, it would have been bad if one of the guests from the auction had opened the lid. After instructing me to hide inside, the conductor wrapped the chain around the costume trunk. I think they went downstairs using the lift shortly thereafter. It was right before the auction. So then when the auction began, only you and Miss Hart were in the storeroom. Yes, that should be right. The auction had been going on as usual, but when a certain participant made the winning bid, the conductor committed the crime. Miss Hart must have heard the altercation that occurred then. You betcha, I was trembling behind that there statue the whole time though. Following the altercation, Jill Crane was murdered. After killing Jill Crane, the conductor carried her body to the costume trunk. and Miss Jensen, who had been hiding in the trunk, was made to take Miss Crane's place. The victim's body was placed inside the costume trunk. The conductor then took Miss Jensen, who had been made to look like Jill Crane, and returned to the auction hall as if nothing had happened. Was this roughly what happened in the storeroom during the incident? Yes, that's right. Hold it from who? Pulling the old switcheroo with one of the auction guests. Ain't that impossible? That gal and the murder victim are two completely different people, you know? Don't you reckon one of the other participants would have noticed and caused a ruckus? No, not at all. The reason they didn't notice the switch was because she stole the victim's clothes, she used the victim's name. Well, if she was wearing her clothes and wearing the mask that changes her voice, as long as they have the same kind of physique, like height and weight and stuff like that, the same kind of build, I guess they wouldn't have noticed. Yeah, from what I can tell, Miss Jensen and the victim appear to have a similar physique. Furthermore, there was a rule requiring a mask to be worn during the auction. If their clothes were the same, I doubt anyone would have noticed she was a different person. Yes, I blended right in. I borrowed Miss Crane's clothes and... Ouch! You mustn't embarrass the dead like that. I know. I also thought it was pretty heartless to leave her exposed like that. So when the conductor wasn't looking, I covered her up in the raincoat that was up for auction. So she was the one who put the red raincoat on the victim. And then the auction resumed as if nothing had happened. I reckon I took the picture of her in the red raincoat after that. That would make all the facts line up. After I took the photo, I went over to the lift to sneak a peek. I witnessed the 11 participants and then I hightailed it back behind the statue. Don't tell me. You were hiding there the entire time until we found you? Nah, that's... how should I put it? What is it? Did something happen? I didn't mention it before, but after that I might have dozed off a little. To be more precise, I fainted? Well, something like that. Something did happen. It ain't no big deal, kinda embarrassing to say though. There was this huge thump sound all of a sudden. I was a little surprised by that. It was right after I had just witnessed a murder, so I was shaking in my boots. My heart sort of tightened up and I was off to La La Land. When I woke up, it was already the next day, around the time y'all came by the storeroom. I see, so there was a large sound. Miss Hart, I take it you do not know what transpired in the storeroom beyond this point. I guess. But after the auction, all the masks were properly returned, so I reckon the participants had exited through the storeroom, just like I done said. Miss Jensen, what were your actions after the auction resumed? I took the victim's place and participated in the auction. The conductor instructed me to win the bid for the costume trunk. Because the body was inside it, it would have been bad if another auction guest won the bid for it. They didn't realize the box was empty. No, we only found out when I came up to the storeroom to pay the bill. The conductor was with me and told me to go search for her immediately. And then I found another girl collapsed in front of the ladder. Kay. Yes, she probably fell down from the roof and lost consciousness. Maybe the victim left the hatch open when she went up to the rooftop. I understand now. Kay was surprised at seeing the collapsed victim and did not notice the open hatch. She must have missed her footing and fell down into the storeroom. Miss Hart, I have determined the sound that made you faint. It was likely the sound of Kay falling onto the storeroom floor. That might have been it, though I reckon it'd be kinda pathetic to faint over something like that. When Miss Jensen found the unconscious Kay, Miss Hart was also unconscious behind the statue. The situation is becoming clearer to me. Miss Jensen, please continue your story. After I found Kay and the victim, I put them both in the trunk. If the customers at the auction found out, there would have been a huge commotion. Was this an order from the conductor as well? Yes, it was, but since I secretly decided to put the raincoat on Miss Crane, I had to dispose of the raincoat without the conductor noticing. Heh, so the conductor didn't anticipate the raincoat becoming another piece of evidence. And finally, we dressed Miss Crane in the spare conductor's outfit. I see. In doing so, you made the victim appear as if she was the conductor. In the end, the auction ended without anyone noticing anything. Miss Jensen, your crimes have become clear. If you know anything else, please hold nothing back. I want to help you more, but that is all I know. If I had to say, there is just one thing that bothers me. When I took Miss Crane's place, I borrowed her clothes, but there was no way for me to borrow her hair.
What kind of coroner's assistant goes around stealing a corpse's hair? I would think that robbing the deceased of their clothes would be questionable enough. Both the color and the length of our hair is different, so I was worried about how to disguise it. However, the conductor even had a wig prepared for me. In fact, he had 2 of them. Inside the costume trunk, there was both a straight wig and a wavy wig. 2 wigs. Why were there 2? Who knows? Maybe it was a precaution in case the victim had changed their hairstyle. I ended up using the straight wig to match Miss Crane's hair, so that means the wavy wig was left unused. Karen's testimony jotted down in my organizer. Is that really all you know? Yes. Yep, that's really all I know. So that means you don't know who the conductor is. I'm sorry, I only knew that person as the auction conductor. I never saw that person without a mask on. The conductor seemed to be on guard towards everybody. At this rate... Edgeworth, is that all you've got? Even if that little nurse is an accomplice, it changes absolutely nothing, you know. In the end, the true culprit is still Kay Faraday. All you did was add another criminal, you know. The rule of law cannot be overturned, at least not for your sake. Is this as far as I go? Am I unable to save Kay? Ah, there she comes. Francisca, why are you here? Didn't I tell you, Miles Edgeworth? Wherever there is a case, I will follow. Prosecutor Von Karma, your hard work is most appreciated. However, don't get the wrong idea. I only came here to find out the truth behind what happened to Kay Faraday. I don't plan on forgiving you for abandoning the prosecutor's path. I understand. You should thank your former subordinate. He gave me some valuable information which may save Kay Faraday. Detective Gumshoe did. Listen well, Miles Edgeworth. This will be the final piece of evidence. Jill Crane suffered the wound on her head first. We already knew that, didn't we? Well, someone say something. Well, I hate to say it, but we already proved that. Already proved? Yes, well, just a few minutes ago. Arr! You should have told me sooner! You're the one who barged in here and started talking. Well then, crap, I pressed too quickly. No, not yet. Is that so? In that case, listen well. The victim was struck on the head with a blunt cylindrical object. The wound on her chest was suffered post-mortem. A cylindrical murder weapon.
Objection.
You know, this report of yours, I trust it's accurate, of course. These were the results of 2 independent autopsies carried out by 2 respected doctors.
Objection.
That's reassuring, but it's too bad. What? Crap. Interpol is after the black market auctions, and I'm the prosecutor in charge of the investigation. The victim participated in the auction. Therefore, it is only natural for me to investigate. Especially now that she's been murdered. I see, clever girl, blah blah blah. Then it has been settled. The victim was killed by a blunt cylindrical object, yeah. Unfortunately, the murder weapon has yet to be found. Heck, just knowing the shape of the murder weapon gives me an idea as to what it might be. Hey, in my investigation, we didn't find any other murder weapons, you know? If you consider the conductor's possession in the crime scene, the answer should be clear. The blunt cylindrical object was an auction gavel. It was something the conductor had in their hand during the auction. Namely, an auction gavel. An auction gavel? We didn't find anything like that. If the culprit is the conductor, it is possible that the gavel may be the murder weapon. And remember Loda's testimony, she said that she could hear the gavel banging all throughout the first part of the auction, but after the murder, a hammer if you like. And she said that after the murder, she couldn't hear it anymore. I have proof to back it up. Yeah, the testimony. The testimony. Where is it? You know what now, yeah. Yeah, it's in the testimony because I remember. According to Miss Hart's testimony after the victim had been murdered, it seems she suddenly stopped hearing the sound of the gavel during the auction. However, she had been able to hear it up until then. Why was that, you ask? It was because it had been used as a murder weapon and was covered in the victim's blood. Well, that one at least I knew, yeah. It became necessary to dispose of it, isn't that right? Blaze the best. I'll have a search for the murder weapon performed immediately. Ah, well, good luck with that, you know. You've got to work as hard as you can while you're young, you see. He's completely confident that we won't find it. Well then, while the search for the murder weapon continues, I hereby call for a brief recess. And this is where I would have to stop for today, because I would have had to stop the stream regardless anyway, because it was getting too late for me. So this is the perfect spot. We will finish this case tomorrow in the afternoon and get started on the next one. Well, I don't think I'll have enough time, even with the whole afternoon, to finish the game, but I think over the weekend I will be done with the game for good, for this case and the next one. So tomorrow in the afternoon I will be back at around 1 p.m. my time, and I will be on the whole afternoon. So there you go, as usual for a Saturday. So you guys can look forward to that if you want to be around when that happens. And well, in the meantime, take care, and I'll see you tomorrow if you guys can make it. See ya. Thank you for watching. Yeah, you're welcome.